right, so we got Jed on tonight. Cameron was feeling a little under the weather, so it's just me and
I
Jed
dare you.
pulling up the
Yep,
weight
got
here.
some Nurgle rot.
Yeah. Um, so interesting show tonight. I wanted to do this show for a couple reasons. One, just talking about what exactly is reliability, and is it good for the game? What factions have it? What factions don't have it? And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pretty hard on this one. Um, and I think the reason I'm gonna be hard on this, like, if you tell me a 2-up is reliable,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you no.
I think you're going to be playing bad cop. I think I'll be playing good
I
cop
know. I
today.
think you're right, and I think we also are from two different realms when it comes to that. I think
Yeah.
you roll. I mean, you roll relatively well, and I roll relatively not well. So this will be a very interesting topic as we go
Yeah.
through these.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and for what it's worth, transparency purposes, this is all an open discussion. I don't have any of these listed. Like, we're just gonna go through each faction and just
Yeah.
go through these what we think is reliable and
Hmm.
just go
Hmm.
through that.
You think we want to do any like tiers?
Um,
A, B,
I'm
C
not gonna
tier.
do tiers, but at the end I'll have a summary. I'll write down. In fact, let me get that going. I'll write
Okay.
down what we think, like kind of like the score we give them, and I'll give like the
Okay.
best three and the worst three.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. So I guess the first thing is what have you been up to, Jed?
Mostly been painting, and I've been binging Lost in Space. I'm already on season 3. I started on season 1 2 days ago.
Lost
So,
in Space. Never. I
oh
don't
yeah.
even know if I've heard of it.
It's on Netflix. It is very, very good if you're looking for good sci-fi.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
really well done. Yeah. What
Okay.
about you, Joel?
I don't know if you could see it over here, but I've got a bunch of
Ooh,
sprues that I'm trying to get through. Trying to get through this
ooh.
combat patrol of Thousand Suns because I have yet another box of it.
Good
So
luck.
I know, gosh, it is.
Hey, you can always use those Zangors for AOS
I'm
because you're
so
gonna use them.
tired of
You're
building
not gonna
Zan.
use them in 40k. Let me tell you what. Let me
Yeah,
tell
they're
you
real
what.
bad. They're real bad in 40k.
They're real bad. Like impressively bad.
Why?
Impressively
Why do they put him in the combat patrol? That's
bad.
so
Because they
bad.
weren't selling them. Like that's we got the first box without Zangors in at least since I've been hobbying. This whenever they started doing the what was that new game mode that came out at the ninth at the end of ninth? Boarding Patrol. Boarding
Oh,
Patrol.
okay.
That was the
Okay.
first box that we got without Zangors in at least 3 years. Probably longer. Probably longer. Yeah.
Um,
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Don says you're about to have a rat problem. I don't know what he's referring
Oh
to.
yes. Oh yeah. That's not a rat problem. It's a rat solution. Okay.
I don't know about that.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna have to work
Oh
real hard for that rat solution.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am
Um,
looking forward to some Skaven. Let me tell you what.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So, other than that, we did get a game in today, so that was
Yes, we
fun.
did. Yeah.
A victory for the trees, Mr.
Yep. It was
Oakenbrow.
classic Nurgle versus Sylvaneth. It was
Yep.
real fun. Um,
I didn't play very well,
three
but
three big stinky boys.
I also
Three
did
big old.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also did not take a very competitive list. I took three Guos. Well, I guess two
Yeah.
Guos and Rodigus,
Yeah.
and we just decided to see what happened. I do think had Prios gone my way, I think I would have kept in the game a little bit longer, and had those trees probably been behind me.
I think honestly screening with the trees is something you don't usually do, but with Sylvaneth, it's actually a pretty a valid solution to that screening problem,
Yeah,
right?
those
Uh,
Nurgle trees always get me in trouble. Like
they really do. They get in the way.
you
I
really
mean, when
have
you
to
also
figure those out.
yeah yeah. But that's also that Sylvaneth list is probably I would honestly take that to a GT if I was playing Sylvaneth. I don't know if it'd do crazy good, but it's just Oakenbrow is real fun.
They're in a
It's still very solid. People underestimate those
Sylvaneth
little
is in a
trees.
very weird spot, but
I've had a game where playing against Sons of Behemat, right? Durthu dies turn 1, and over the course of the game, Tree Lord Ancient takes out the rest of the Gargants.
Nice.
Takes out 3 Mega Gargants on his own. So good. But speaking of reliability, let's get into that.
Yes.
Although, actually, let's see some of the hobby stuff this week.
Yeah. Let's do the art of the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Vincenzo Celeste. I don't know, man. I'm not good with names, so you know.
I feel that.
But this dude, it's his attention to detail on this. Like there is just some good looking model. That base, is that a stock base for? Dude, I don't even know who that is. Who is that? The wolf dude? Didn't he just come out?
Wolf dude. Horus?
What?
Horus? Are you talking about Horus?
Is that Horus?
Wolf dude.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know 40K.
The Mr. Heresy himself, John Heresy. Yeah. That is pretty sick. A lot of the Horus Heresy Trader Primarchs, their base is Fulgrim's coming out soon. Cannot wait to see how some people handle it.
Is that dude's normal base, or is that a custom base?
That's a custom base. That's a
sick.
custom base. He's got 2 separate models. One was like one of the first of the Trader Primarchs that came out. This one they re-released it, and it just way more action pose. I love it. But I am also loving that the OSL on that Space Marine as well. See, even if OSL can be simple to do if you got an airbrush, it still gets me every time. It makes my eye. It's just eye candy to me.
Well, what you don't see on it too, because I couldn't blow it up that much because I didn't want to ruin the quality of it. But there's like little engravings on the sword. Like, it's crazy. This dude's attention to detail is crazy. It's crazy good. But yeah, so definitely go check out his Instagram. There's a ton of stuff over there. Again, these are just some of the pictures I picked, but just the attention to detail this guy has is pretty crazy.
See, I can't look at Instagram too much when it comes to modeling because I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I know.
Why are they so much better than me? How dare you?
I just don't paint, so that's my problem.
Exactly. Not a problem you run into.
All right, so let's get into the topic because we're gonna go through every faction. We're not gonna take too long, but I definitely want to get through each one of them. Let's answer the question to what defines reliability. Let's do that first. These are what I think we should, line these up with the factions. How do they rule with the other with the factions, right? So and I gave little examples here, but there's obviously tons of them, right? So the I'm just trying to keep up with chat too. Instagram is great inspiration, but you have to be realistic. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm not there yet. That's why you always keep your first model, and you always try to get better from there.
Oh yeah. I've kept mine.
Plague monks. 1,000 Suns. Plague monks are mine. And boy, let me tell you, they're not great, but they're plague monks,
Exactly. That's all you need.
All right. So what defines reliability? So let's start with the first one: the need to not roll for buffs or debuffs. And the perfect one for this is the War Chanter, right?
Yep.
So don't need to roll anything. You just say this guy gets +1 to damage. Another good example of this is the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. The 6-up ward, right? You just gives it to someone, and you don't have to worry about rolls. You can't unbind it. You can't do it. You just boom, you get it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. Or even auras. I mean, you see a little less of those in the game, but the Chaos War Shrine is an example.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That'd be a good example. There's nothing you can mechanically do to other than remove that model. Yep. There's nothing you can do to get rid of that buff or debuff.
Yep.
So that's the first one. Second one is, now this is to a certain extent, because if you're like me, you're still going to roll like crap no matter how many dice you roll. But there is some definition of reliability to the amount of dice you roll for attack and defense to a certain extent, right? So So I put Plague Monks as an example because you charge those guys in there, they get like 3 or 4 attacks a piece, and you're rolling a ton of those things. Because they are 28 mil base, you're going to get a ton of them in. You're going to get something in, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's reliability to a certain extent. Obviously, that needs to be, like a pretty large number because I could roll 5 Blight Kings and do like 2 damage, right? So like it's got to be a good extent.
Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. Those
Yeah,
guys can
that'd be another one.
slap because they have less attacks, but they're all like 1 rend 2 damage,
Mhm.
and you can get them to like 4 attacks each. Fight on death.
What's the other one? What's the Spite Revenants? Aren't they 3 attacks each?
Yes, the main thing is they do mortals, but they don't have any rend innately,
That's fine.
and
That's fine.
they can't,
Remember, I don't
they
care
can't fight.
about Rens. I just care about amount of dice, reliability. That's all
Yeah,
I'm going for.
you.
Right?
The problem is, so they'd be a great unit of 10, but they're in 5s.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I get you. I'm just giving examples, right? Just so we
yeah,
can set a
yeah.
baseline, right?
Doing mortal wounds as well, I think, is a good one, right?
Yep. The
Yeah.
only way that you can really counter that is if you have a ward, right? A mortal wound ward or something like that.
Yep.
The other one is allegiance abilities. There's a ton of these. Tzeentch
Yep.
Destiny Dice is the perfect example. Now that being said, this can also be unreliable because you roll those 9 dice and you get 5 ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
I've done it before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it doesn't feel good. Another
Oh, yeah.
example of this that Cameron suggested was the WA points for Big WA.
Yeah.
I forgot what they're called. It's WA points or something.
Yeah, I think it's wall points.
While they can be reliable, I would argue that they are not reliable because your hero phase you roll you get a d6 for the start of the WA points. If
Yep.
you go 2 rounds back to back and get 1 WA point, that's a rough time. It's going to be a rough time.
It's true. It's true.
So do I consider that reliable? I don't think so. I don't think I consider a d6 reliable for that.
I think another aspect of reliable is, can your opponent deny it?
Yeah.
You cannot deny wall points. What you can
That's
deny
true. That is true.
in Hedonites of Slaanesh, right? Because they have a very similar system, you can deny or choose your depravity targets, right?
Yeah.
Slaanesh is usually fast enough to get around that, but sometimes you can just perfectly screen out, especially if you're a defender,
Yeah.
right?
And I would even say Slaanesh is one of those things where I would consider the Slaanesh ability, the depravity points, reliable because I don't know if I've ever, even when I take the damage 95% of the time, Slaanesh still ends up gaining a ton of depravity in so many other ways that you just cannot prevent.
It's true, you've got temptation dice, but that's really up to your opponent whether or not they give it to you or whether or not they take the
Right,
mortal
but
wounds.
even then, even when I take the damage, it seems like no matter what Slaanesh player I play, they always get to that 36 number relatively quickly.
It really comes in the games I've played with Cameron with Slaanesh, right, and a couple other high scope people, right? It's going to be like really those crazy Furies. I think are fantastic screens against that, right?
Yeah.
They are fantastic because they're only like what 5-10. It's like a total of like 10 wounds for the unit, right?
Oh yeah.
So it depends on how you shoot, right? Slaanesh is their own thing, right? And I do love them.
So we have allegiance abilities.
Yeah.
And then the next one's spamming certain abilities or mechanics. So the 2 examples I gave here, and while it might not be reliable in one circumstance, if you've got enough of them, they will eventually be reliable. So like Annihilator spam, which is now back in the meta because now they're super
Let's
cheap.
go.
If you run just Annihilator spam, you might not make that 7-inch charge every time, but you're going to make it on one of those, right? So with rerolls and the 7-inch, I think they all get rerolls when they drop, right?
They always get a reroll,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So that majorly increases it to about 50-ish% of you getting in there with a reroll.
Correct, and that's just one Annihilator, right? So if you're going to do spam, you're going to have plenty of these. Rotmire, Creed are another one for getting disease points out, right? So that's one. The next one I have is adding dice to abilities. So this is also relatively reliable. I've rolled 3d6 and not been able to charge, but 3d6 charge, 3d6 casts, like the Orruk ability for Chaos Sorcerer is the one I give an example to, but there's many of these. While, again, it's not 100% reliable, it is helping to become more reliable.
Yeah, 3d6 charge makes... it makes some units go way faster than they have any right to. And we'll get into that.
It definitely does suck though when you roll 3 1s and you're like, yep, all right, well, it is what it is. And I will roll.
But
those
it's also the best feeling when you roll
2
6s and a 5 with a +3 and you go 20 inches across the board.
It does feel good.
Oh, and a little chosen. Oh, so good. So good.
The other one, which we have gotten rid of for the most part, is the
Yeah.
ability to reroll. Much of the
Which,
rerolls have gone. I think Flesh Eater Courts is one of the few that have rerolls. There's a couple of rerolls here and
yeah.
there, but for the most part, this is gone.
Yeah.
And then I also said so reliability isn't just rolling dice; it's also
Yeah.
easy battle tactics and grand strategies.
Yeah.
The best one is Daughters of Khaine.
Yep.
Using heart renders just to do their thing, right? Like, do what they're supposed to do. Get a
It's
battle tactic.
200 points for free battle
Correct.
tactics.
And there's a bunch of
Right.
these, right? Big Wah
Yep.
has got the if you're only running um, one, what are they called?
Big Wall is like if you
Cruel
have like
Boys.
3 units. Yeah.
Well, I was
you
gonna
got a
say if
Cruel
you're
Boys
running
one.
one Cruel Boys unit like Gobsprak, one of the battle tactics is just to have him next to a terrain at the end of the turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Your
Easy.
whole army of Cruel Boy units just have to be, next to your terrain. If
Yeah.
you've only got one Cruel Boy unit and it's Gobsprak, done.
Yep.
Complete your battle tactic.
Yeah. So
Good job.
I also think that as far as a winning strategy,
Yeah.
that I consider that a reliable tactic, right?
Yeah.
Now, before we get on to the factions,
Yeah.
I think it's good to note and ask the question: should Age of Sigmar, or even 40K for that matter, should these tabletop games be reliable? And
Mhm.
I think the answer is no, they should not. I don't think. I mean, at the end of the day, you play a tabletop game because you roll for it,
Yeah.
right? You roll for most of the
Exactly.
things that happen. So I think in general, you don't want tabletop games to be reliable. You want them to have that success and anti-success. Okay, I'm gonna go take care
Yeah.
of my dogs real quick. But
No, you're all good. I've got
so-
another topic actually I did want to talk about.
Yeah, you do that real quick.
Specifically
I'm
under
gonna go.
allegiance abilities.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
go take care of them.
So one other aspect of reliability, right? And under allegiance abilities, I think is summoning, not just Destiny dice. Being able to summon more units onto the board, giving you essentially free points, I think is a huge aspect of reliability. So that would be things like less commonly Slaanesh, but Tzeentch is known for its summoning, right? If you're running Guild of Summoners, you can bring easily another 100,000, or you bring over 1,200 points just on the board with 3 Lords of Change. It's more often in Guild of Summoners. It's more often you're bringing 2 Lords of Change on the board, but it is possible to get to 3, especially if you're playing against Lumineth. That is when it gets nutty. Nurgle as well can summon. It's less common for Nurgle summoning builds, and Khorne can summon as well, but you're never using that. You're going into you're leaning into the Blood Tithe, and you're leaning into those faction abilities. Seraphon as well, right? They're also a big summoning engine.
Yep.
But yeah, that's I think another aspect of reliability is that you can just bring out things for things you're already doing. Tzeentch I think has the most reliable summoning next to Seraphon. I think they're tied, right? Because you're gonna be casting spells throughout the game.
Unless you roll double ones.
With Tzeentch, even if you're rolling double ones, it's fine.
That's true. That is true. I think
Yeah,
you
so-
might actually might even be better for them summoning. You would think not because Seraphon's just got so many pluses to cast. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. Maybe Seraphon. We'll get to him. We'll see which one.
Yeah.
Which one we like
Yeah.
better. Okay, so let's get into the first faction. Now again, I'm not going to know some of these. I don't know every faction super well, so we're gonna have to
Mhm.
bounce off each other here because, like the first one, I have no idea. Right. So Cities of Sigmar. I don't know this very well. I mean, we did the.
So this is the new Cities of Sigmar, right?
This is the new Cities of Sigmar. We did a review on this, but I don't
Yeah.
know it very very well, right? So I haven't yet played any of it, so
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about this. So
Agreed.
what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go down real quick each one of these, and do just a check or
Yeah.
a pass check
Yep.
type deal, right? Does it get this benefit or not, right? So let's start. So the need to not roll for buffs. I think with their commands that does help, but I think it's more of an allegiance ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Orders, right?
In general, I mean, there's obviously going to be corner cases here, but in general, the need to not roll for buffs, does this affect them quite a bit or not really?
I think one of the main aspects for buffing is going to be the spell that lets them to do mortal wounds on 6s in addition, right? And that is a spell, right? I think that's one of their least reliable buffs. It's not just something you can give, right? Like you can increase the range of a unit.
Right.
That's something that once it gets onto the tournament scene, and we're still playing with primal dice, everyone's going to save their primal dice to unbind that, and everything else is like okay, right? But 3d6 charges, right? Especially with those the cavalry. That's another spell with like the Gur Wild form. Being able to countercharge, being able to get Bloodthirsty to reroll that, right? There's, I'm saying that this is a pretty reliable book, even if there's a couple other things that can be unbound and that your opponent can interact with. They can't interact with your orders, right? And that's something that there's no need to roll. It just happens.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
agree
be
with
within
that.
3. With Lookout Sir, right? Unless they're within 12, or it's, magic like Tzeentch, right? They can't target them.
So I
So I'm going to say definitely check for that.
Yeah, definitely. You can't really do anything about their orders, right? There's nothing you really can do about them.
Yeah.
Amount of dice rolled for attack. Do they have any crazy? I mean, I want to say Fusilators, or what are they? Yeah, Fusilators. Is that what they're called?
I think it's Fusiliers.
Fusiliers.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, Fusiliers.
Are they? Is there any amount of dice? Right? Is there any units that are just rolling crap ton of dice?
There's some jerky units like the Executioners or Harganeth, I think, something like that. Some elves that are definitely throwing a lot of dice at you in melee and going to shred everything, right? As well as Fusiliers. Fusiliers. The problem with Fusiliers is that it's a lot of dice. On base, it's not a lot of quality attacks. It's like 4s and 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage, right? Which is good when they're 2 attacks each and it's a unit of 20, right? That's like 60 dice you're throwing at them. Or, it's a unit of 30,
would you,
right?
again, in general, would you consider the amount of dice that they roll reliable? I lean towards no, at least from what I remember in the book, in the battle tome.
So the main thing, and I'm going to give props to GW on this, is that they worded things very specifically. On the return fire, it's going to be 4s and 4s with practically no buffs. In your shooting phase, it's going to be 3s and 3s. Which in an Unleash Hell, right, it's going to be -1 to hit, so 5s and 4s, right?
Yeah, but how many dice are you rolling for that?
Bajillion. So it's you're rolling about 2 shots each for every unit, right? And if you're shooting, basically in every phase, because of Return Fire or Unleash Hell, and in your turn, those are some pretty quality attacks. 3s and 3s, especially if you can do the mortal wounds. But it's a lot of synergy, and some of those synergies can be disrupted to them. But I'm leaning very neutral on it. But overall, I'm going to say yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll give it to them.
Yeah.
I probably lean more towards no, but I can see the argument for that.
It very much depends. Very much depends.
I think
on what phase we're
talking. So as far as their buffs go,
yeah.
For like some of their heroes, I can't remember if they're rolling for these buffs or not. Like the majority of them.
A lot of them are heroic actions, right?
Okay.
It's like once per game. They do Finest Hour. They give a buff to their unit, like +3 to charge on the cap hero, right? Things like that. So there's not actually a whole lot of interacting with those things, unless you're Nurgle and you turn off Finest Hour, right? Can't do heroic actions. It's very rare to see that in the game.
But is there anything like, remember the example we gave? We gave like a War Chanter, right? Is there anything to where it's just you get this buff? I know there was the little
there's the Gobapalooza ripoff.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
It's the human Gobapalooza, right?
Is there anything else like that other than that Cities of Sigmar Gobapalooza? I want to say
not particularly.
I thought there was like one other dude that gave buffs that was.
Yeah, this is a very new book, and we haven't really gotten very many.
I know. I feel bad because I just don't know this book very well, right?
Well, and the book hasn't officially come out either, right? We're not running this in tournaments unless TO specifically allow it, because the models aren't even out yet, except for like that one launch box. Because,
mechanics that can't be denied. We already know
orders.
Yeah, orders are kind of in that. I guess we can check that. I mean, again, it's going to be more playtesting with this. I don't know the book well enough. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. Remember the
I
example
mean,
we gave for this was like um, Annihilator spam, right?
yeah, yeah. Now, Fusilier spam, it's such a deep book that we're gonna have to see, right? Scourge runners were very common, very popular there for the old book. They might be as well in this new book. They're still pretty quality shots, so you might be seeing like 10 chariots on the board, if you're the one crazy person that brings 10 chariots. You might see 2 blocks of 30 Fusiliers or 2 blocks of 20, but you're not going to see more than that. You're not going to see like 18 Annihilators, right?
Okay.
Like
Okay.
we're seeing in Stormcast right now.
I think you're gonna.
So
I think the biggest thing you're gonna
yeah,
see, at least from what we came out of that book, that everyone's gonna run is a bunch of Fusiliers.
yeah, I think Scourge Runner Chariots as well could see some play because they're so cheap and they've got shooting and they're just annoying. I've played a proxy game with them before in the old book,
Would
and
you?
it was
I mean, would you consider that reliable though?
it's pretty reliable shooting because they've got like 2 shots. It's like it's a 2 damage weapon on pretty good. When you've got when you're spamming like 8 of those chariots and they're just taking up the board and you got to chew through them
I
somehow.
guess.
But this is a very wide book, right? It's a
Yeah, it
very
is very wide. It is very wide. There's a lot of it. Another one that's gonna be like this is orcs, right? Because like,
hmm
I didn't split them up. I just kept it one book. But it's gonna be very wide
yeah,
in that book as well.
yeah.
Adding that 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. I don't
Yep,
remember. I cannot remember.
they
if
have
had
those.
Okay. All right.
They have them. Hollowed Heart, 3d6 cast, remove the lowest, but you like take mortal wounds if it's
Oh
a 10.
yes. Yep.
Yep.
I do remember that. Yep.
3d6 charges, they do that bonuses to charges. Yep.
The ability to reroll, even though much of that is gone, so that
No, they don't have very many rerolls.
no
They actually
rerolls.
don't.
So look, we gotta pass on that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest, I do not remember the battle tactics. There's a couple of them that seemed relatively okay, but they're not like Daughters of King.
I don't think they were all that good. They weren't Daughters of King, and in that case, I don't think any of them were just um, immediately like super reliable, right? So I'm gonna go
Yep.
pass on that. So that's Cities of Sigmar. And
Cities of Sigmar.
I'll keep a count.
Okay.
Okay. Next. Daughters
All
of
right.
Khaine. They need to
Yeah.
not roll for buffs. Let's start there. I
They
should
need to
know
roll
this.
for a lot of.
I
They
think
need to roll for their buffs.
Yeah, I think most of them are rolling for buffs.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing like the War Chanter that I'm thinking about. And again, if there's anyone in chat that knows these, and you're like, what about this? Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong. But I
Yep.
don't think I think this is going to be a pass. I don't think they have a whole lot of.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, I can't actually think of one. The one who buffs the Witch Elves. They do have that.
Gladiatrix.
And they do change for their faction abilities. They have their overall the game. They get +1 to hit, right? They can get their 5
That's
up forward.
allegiance abilities. So let's not go
That
there.
is that's that's fair. That's
We'll
fair.
go with allegiance abilities on that.
That's fair. But they do have that one like Sisters of Slaughter looking model.
Yeah,
That
the
does
Gladiatrix.
change characteristic. But that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm not going to say that's enough to be reliable.
I agree.
Amount of dice rolled for attack defense to a certain extent.
Mm,
I'm going to say yes. I think
Yeah.
melee
Yep.
snakes 3 attacks each, right? Like, it's
Yep.
pretty gross. So I'm going to say they check on this.
And shooty snakes, and remember you can do that twice,
Yep.
right?
Yep, okay. And then allegiance abilities.
They're
Are they
pretty solid.
reliable? Kharadron, yeah, they're actually really
Yeah.
reliable.
They're you know what's going to happen with them. Yep.
They got their table. You can't do anything about it. They just get it.
Yep.
There's ways to buff that.
Accelerate it.
And accelerate
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I'm going to say this is definitely a check.
Yeah.
For sure. Mechanics that cannot be denied. Now, don't get this mixed with the allegiance abilities, because like you
Yeah.
can't change anything for the table.
Mm.
But I mean, you could technically give them -1 to hit, -1 to wound, right? So like there are ways to counter that.
Yeah.
Mechanics that can't be denied.
A
I was
lot
even
of
gonna
things
say
are-
I was even gonna say like shooting twice, but that can be denied too.
It's a command
It is a
ability.
command ability, and there's lots of ways to get rid of that nowadays.
I mean, yes, it's true. Tzeentch has that ability to shut off that, right? And they are
Geminids.
still Geminids as well, right? There is the ability to shut off commands, but commands are certainly more reliable than I would say spells, right? personally, I would say a command is pretty reliable. But if your whole entire army hinges on commands, it can get a little bit more difficult.
Let's see. What else? Is there any other mechanics that can't be denied?
A couple, but
I
we'll
mean,
get into
I'm even
those.
thinking of like the 2-up crystal.
Marathi. You can't deny her. She's going to be on the board for 4 turns.
That is true.
Or
That
4
is a
combats.
very good point. Yeah, that's a very
4
good
combats. Right?
Mechanics that can't be denied. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially if you're running Earthing Incarnate.
Well, and most people are running Marathi, and she is a pain. She's very reliable. Like, you can always count on Marathi. That's one of the reasons why I take her, because she is very reliable. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics, this is a absolute check. I mean, think of it, bow snakes, melee snakes, you name it. Witch elves, Sisters of Slaughter. I mean, that's exactly what this is all about. Adding dice to abilities. They don't know 3d6 casts. They don't have a 3d6 charge. They have a command to run in charge.
That is pretty reliable.
But adding dice to abilities, I don't think.
Is that in the charge phase that you? How does that issue run in charge? Can you also spend a command?
It's only for snakes. It's only from Melusai Iron Scale, and she has to issue them it during the charge. So if you mess up your movement or something and she can't reach them,
that's fair.
That could be a problem. But I'm just saying, like, is there any adding dice to the abilities? I don't think so. I'm not. There's no.
Yeah.
Unless I'm crazy, you're not adding dice to anything. I don't think the High Gladiatrix adds anything to the charge.
No.
They don't get no crazy 3d6 casting.
Some of them have +1s, but that's pretty standard. To charge to run it. That's +1 to run a charge is still not bad.
It's still not bad. I'm gonna say pass on this. I don't think they covered this.
I agree. All
right, and then rerolls. Nope, they don't have any of these. No rerolls.
Nope, none.
Grand strategies. This was definitely a check.
The check. Yeah.
Probably one of the easiest books to get.
Yeah. They have the easiest secondaries, and it's not even close. Yeah, it's not even close.
I agree. I know we're gonna have a hot take on this.
I have a couple things on Fyreslayers to say.
All right. Right. So let's just go down the list, and then you can try to sell me on them. I think some of these I'm not going to agree with, but we'll go through them. The need to not roll buffs.
Easy. Yep. Check. You can do +1 attacks from the Magmadroth. You can get the 4-up Ignore, right, from the Battlesmith. 4-up Spell Ignore, right?
And these just happen, right? Like these
just happen.
Okay, all right, I'll give it to you. I agree with you on this. I would agree with you on this.
Yeah, and you see those in every list.
Yeah. All right. Amount of dice rolled for attacks. I would say they probably check on this.
Oh, they check on that a lot. Yep. So if you're running
lots of dice, they're rolling lots of dice.
If you're running Vorstag, right? They get +1 attacks on the charge. Even if not, they're 2 attacks each. If they're on the charge, +1 to hit and wound. Right? 2s and 2s is pretty reliable, and you have ways of charging out of sequence, so you can charge and get that +1 to hit and wound on the enemy's turn.
Okay. All right. I'll give it
to you. And it's like 31 dice for 10 of them, plus 5 on death.
Allegiance abilities. I
definitely. So we're gonna agree and disagree here.
The only thing that I'm gonna say, I have played a couple Fyreslayer players where they go and they're banking on that 6 for their little, what do you call it?
The runes.
Yeah, the runes.
The Urgle.
And it doesn't happen, and it really hinders what they were going for. So because those 6s are super good. They
are super good, but you want to know what you get every time?
You get one.
You get that reliable buff. You get that bottom bracket buff. That +1 to hit every time. You get 6s to hit, 6s to wound are immortal in addition.
As long as you're not hindering on it, and you're always gonna get the rune. There's no. You can't deny it either. You're just always gonna get it. So
remember, also there's a command trait to make it on a 5-up if you do want to make it more reliable. Okay. But there's also a heroic action that lets you get that extra right? So if you need to put it on the Rune Father on Magmadroth, you can do that heroic action instead of Finest Hour. Get +1 to hit and to wound, right?
Okay. Okay.
Or a couple other things, right? Instead of +1 Ren, to get +2 Ren.
I'm taking it that +1 to hit and wound is like a sub-faction ability or something.
That is an army-wide ability. You can get +1 to hit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll agree with you.
I
mean, the runes, you're gonna get them regardless. Whether you're banking on that 6 or not, you're still gonna get them. So there's nothing you can do to deny it or anything. So sure.
Yep.
Mechanics that can't be denied.
In what type of mechanics are we talking about? That's kind of the.
Well, so what was the example we used?
So I'm thinking, right, that I guess this more falls in line with allegiance abilities, right? But there are some allegiance abilities that can be denied. A lot of fight on death, right? You can't deny fight on death with their war scroll. So that's an active ability.
Other things too.
I'm also going to say
the 4-up ward they get. Like the Magmadroths get their 3-up ward or something stupid.
So yeah, once per game, that just happens with an artifact, right?
Yeah.
That phase. The Hearthguard Berserkers, I'm going to say that can be denied because you can kill the heroes that give that buff.
True.
Right?
That's true.
The other thing that I'm going to say is Flamekeepers. Once they get, because things are going to die, right? You're going to get up to your 6.
See, this is where we were going to differ because I looked at the Flamekeeper and I was like, it's really good. The Flamekeeper's good. Don't get me wrong. I've been killed by it many times. That stupid little thing. But you do have to kill something in order for that to happen.
No, you have it's any models that die.
I thought it was
including your own. Including your own.
Did they FAQ this?
So the FAQ that you saw is that when you run from Battle Shock, it no longer counts as slain models for the purposes of the Flamekeeper. That's the FAQ you're referring to. But if your guys die in combat, which they will because they fight on death and they're a 5-up save, they're gonna die. And they're gonna die fast.
But you're not gonna get this. You're not gonna get this round 1.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
How are you getting this round 1?
Because I throw up a unit of 10 Berserkers and I can run and charge them, throw them up in the face, and you have to deal with them, get them off the point.
But you're not gonna get. You're not gonna
or
get.
You go. Or, and this is something I use with Hearthguard Berserkers all the time, that was monumental, is Hearthguard Berserkers, right? You put them up the board. About 5 of them are going to die, even with their 4-up ward, but you can rally them back. So Hearthguard Berserkers, and they rally back on a 4-up. Hearthguard Berserkers, when they die, can also give that into the Flamekeepers, and then, with Vorstag, with +1 to hit and wound on the charge, the Volkite Berserkers can then be a really flappy counterpunch.
Okay, so a couple things. It's only when a friendly Fyreslayers model is slain, by the way.
Okay.
Flamekeeper.
Yeah.
It's only when a friendly one. Yeah. But that's fine. I think we are.
You only need
we're putting a lot of real estate into fight on death, which, to be fair,
it's an ability that you cannot deny.
You cannot deny that, and if you don't take care of it, they're just going to be at full strength the entire time.
Exactly. Hey, I'm cool with that.
So I will give it to you, but I do think there are some mechanics that can be denied for this.
If they do not want to kill me the entire game, I'm going to be okay with that. With my 70 bodies of 2 wound 70 bodies, right? I'm okay with that.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. This is an obvious.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's an obvious. Yes. 3-6 charge. So remember, this is specifically adding dice to abilities.
They don't. No, they don't really have anything like that. They have bonuses to prayers, but I'm not going to say anything like that. Right?
No, it's not adding dice to it though. If it was like adding dice to the prayer or something, I'd be like, sure, okay, but I don't think they do that. No rerolls, right?
You can get rerolls from. Oh, who was it? No, I don't believe that they have any rerolls. Go Trek, but he doesn't really count.
No, it doesn't count. We're not putting Go Trek. Get out of here. Get out of here. That stupid little model. All right. And then last, battle tactics, grand strategy.
They are very much in the mid section when it comes to battle tactics. They have some good ones, but they're not anything to write home about.
Yeah, are they reliable?
They are pretty reliable. Yes. They're not Daughters of Khaine, but They're not extremely easy.
All right.
You can get a couple of them pretty swell.
I'm looking now because I don't remember them being very very reliable. Let's see.
They're pretty reliable. So one of the things is, if you control less objectives than your opponent, control more by the end of the turn. The other one would be like have a hero die in combat. You can practically guarantee that, right? Because units have to fight if they're eligible. There's a couple others.
But but what if you're not in combat? Like, what do you do for turn 1 for battle tactics?
For turn 1 battle tactics,
Yeah.
you don't deploy onto an objective. Don't deploy onto an objective. You've got enough bodies to run up and just hold the points. And you do have the ability to run in charge with the new model. And you can also run in charge with prayers. So the other thing I'm going to say is, because maybe they're less so on the battle tactics, the other part is invocations. Getting your grand strategy, which is important. And they practically have an auto-include grand strategy, which is going to be have an invocation on the field by the end of the game. You just have to end the invocation. That's all you got to do.
You can't do that if your heroes are dead.
Even if he goes wild, I mean, yeah, you can be denied. You're right if you kill him.
If there's one thing that I know for Fyreslayers that I'm going up against, it is killing every single hero in that squad.
Good. Hey, you know what? If you're denying my grand strategy, by that point, if you've killed so many of my small heroes that you're denying my strategy, I'm going to lose the game anyways. Yeah. Right?
I guess at the end of the day...
But you cannot dispel an invocation.
True. Are the battle tactics and grand strategies reliable? That's a generic question.
In my opinion.
I'm not a Fyreslayers player, so I'll take your word for it. But I don't know about that one.
I will say that they have some horrible, horrible matchups, but they are overall reliable.
We're essentially saying that Fyreslayers is as reliable as Cities of Sigmar, for the record.
Yeah.
IDK.
Oh.
I think there's some reliable aspects to this army. I don't know if they're reliable, but...
Yeah. There's... Yeah.
The need to not roll for buffs.
Do D3...
Yes, there's tons of stuff that you do not need roll buffs. Like
but it's
the
like,
auras...
You get... Yeah.
Or, I mean, +1 to wound, +1 to hit. Like, there's so many of this. Like, this is
+1
definitely...
to save, -1 to hit.
Yeah, much of that for buffs. Amount of dice rolled. I think thralls are 3 attacks, and then they get +1 to attacks.
So this really depends on the build you're going for overall, right? If you're going heavy into sharks, you still can get a lot of shots out at D3 damage. It's nutty how many shots you can get off.
Yeah,
with
thralls,
those guys.
I mean, even reavers two attacks. I think for the most part, this is going to be a check. For the most part, you're going to be running thralls or reavers. Now, maybe,
and they're all on 3s and 3s, right?
Right. Or even better, right? With their auras, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. The auras just are always there. Allegiance abilities.
Check, absolutely. You know what they're doing every game, and you get to have some control over it.
So, the only reason I'm going to say no for this, while you know what they're going to do, after playing IDK, because I'm very familiar with them now that, we played a little while ago, this is one of those things where, like, this allegiance ability can be denied pretty hard. And the reason I say this is, while their first round is really good with the cover and whatnot, I also think you have to shoot the closest thing to you. That's also very good. One of the biggest things you rely on in this army is waiting until round 3.
But you can reinforce that on round 2. You can push that. You can accelerate that.
True. You
you
can swap them, right? You can swap the order.
With the Akkelian King?
I'll give it to you because there's a lot of allegiance abilities that you can't... There's, like, things that you can't do to deny. Like, there's nothing you can do about shooting the closest unit, right? So
they're also very fast, right?
They are very fast. Mechanics that can't be denied. This is obviously a check. There's just... There's so many of this that you have no control over how they play. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics... The only one that I'm
Yeah,
thinking about with this is sharks. Eels are
yeah,
garbage right
sharks.
now. I don't think people are spamming eels. You could, but it's not a very good. It wouldn't
Yeah,
be competitive.
there's play in it. Don't get me wrong. I do think that there's a play with a block of 6 with the new coherency rules because that's really what held them back for a little while. But
You
like
know what?
definitely,
This is a check, and I'll tell you why.
yeah.
Run a bunch of Soul Scryers and let me know if this spam certain ability thing sucks.
Yep.
Because let me tell you, that would be a bad time.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
gonna say check on this.
Yeah.
Um, this is so sad because they're so not very good. But I guess, I mean, adding dice to abilities, 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast.
Yeah. So the problem with reliability is predictability, right? That's the trade-off with a lot of these armies, and that's why I think Idoneth Deepkin have some problems. Is because you can plan for that round 3 because it's so predictable. Personally, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where I was like, you can't quote unquote deny it.
Yep.
But you can play around it.
Yes, you can.
And
Yep.
I think this is a very glass cannon army as well.
Oh, for sure.
So like
For sure.
things go down really quick. So you know, you have that going against you.
Yeah.
Do they have any 3d6 charge or 3d6 cast? I don't
No.
play the storm.
They have bonuses,
CD.
but not a lot of great extra things. They have some
3d6
bonuses.
charge. What was I getting charged with for this? Oh,
Like
retreat and charge.
in our game,
That's what. Yeah, I was thinking retreat and charge, but that's not 3d6. You're not adding
retreat and charge. That's more faction ability, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's even just a war scroll, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess it also is allegiance ability too. You're right.
Yeah.
Adding dice, but I don't think they get this.
Yep.
Rerolls. I don't think they have
No
any
rerolls. I don't think they have any outside of like Master of Magic, from what I found.
Grand Strays and Battle Tactics.
They're very much
I
in the
feel
mid
like-
B tier.
Yeah, I feel like these were tough when I played.
Yeah. So yeah. They're very much mid, where I'm like, okay, they're serviceable, but they're not passing with flying colors. They're getting by,
Yeah. Kill a unit within 12 of the ship. Sure, but it's not.
That's-
Is it reliable? Maybe.
You can fail a charge. There's a lot of redeploy things
Yep.
like that, right? They could just not die.
Kill 2 or more units during a high tide. Oh yeah, no, this is now that I'm thinking. Most of these are you have to do during a tide or something.
But I will note that being able to, because we're in a meta right now that's not a killing meta, right? It's all magic, it's all movement. Having that, I just need to kill this objective is
Sure, but
I just need to kill.
I mean,
unit
a lot of
is
these.
very nice.
A lot of these are.
It opens up
unreliable.
your options.
Because you have to kill 2 or more enemy units while being affected by high tide. And while you can do that.
Yeah.
Is it reliable?
It was
If you don't have
reliable.
high tide, and you're relying on just increasing someone's like once per battle, increase the tide by 1 or whatever. I don't think these are reliable.
Okay.
Let's see. This one might be at the end of the turn completes battle if you control the objective. Okay. And there's a friendly Ishrin unit within 6 inches. What if you're not running Ishrin? And then another one's with Alapexes. Like, what if you're not running Alapexes, right? I don't think these are reliable. I do not think these are reliable. And just remembering our game, I struggled through some of this.
Yeah, that was also Rat Ogres pinning you in deployment zone, right? 6 Rat Ogres just running up the board, just slobbering. We're ready for some elf meat.
Okay.
And then getting promptly killed. And coming back for round 2.
Yeah.
And then probably getting killed again.
Hey, I ended up coming out with the win, but boy,
Exactly.
I had help with it.
Uh,
All right, KO. Oh boy, here we go. This one will be interesting. Oh boy, this one's gonna be real interesting.
OKO.
All right. The needs to not roll for buffs.
Yeah, they don't really roll for bed much. They've got their...
Yeah, the
all of their buffs
Admiral- It's a lot of command. It's really command point heavy.
It's a lot of command stuff, but you don't have to roll for it.
Yeah, that's true. Ships move. Yeah, I'll say check on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Amount of dice rolled for attacks.
Oh, they have a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
They have a lot of attacks, but they're all on 3s and 4s, which is rough.
But that's a lot of attacks.
It's a lot of attacks, and they all are a bajillion different dice, and it's a nightmare.
If it was me playing them, I would say pass because I'm never getting any attacks through. But it is what it is.
Exactly.
Allegiance abilities. Let me think.
They're very solid, right? Their teleporting shenanigans is very solid. A lot of their it really comes down to their rights and their. Oh, what's the other thing? They've got two different things. They've got codes and articles, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Which lets you like unleash hell twice or something like that. Lets you shoot again after you charge a unit.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say there are ways. A lot of their allegiance abilities are. It's obviously the codes, right? But
yeah.
The fly high commands and stuff like that. There's ways to screen it out.
It's true.
Like if you're playing a KO player, you're being real careful about how you screen your army.
Yep.
Now, is their allegiance ability reliable? I would say yes.
Mm-hmm. It's not. You don't have to roll any dice for it. It just happens.
Yeah, and then a lot of the articles are just free.
Yep.
At the rally. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but that's. Yeah.
I mean, it's an article, right?
Yeah.
Okay, mechanics that can't be denied.
So that's going to be again like fly high, shooting, a lot of their buffs, a lot of their healing. Right, you can just heal the ship with a hero.
But
things like that.
But a lot of that can be denied, right? Like
the healing off the hero cannot be denied. If he's just in there, he just heals. I mean, you could deny it by killing the ship, but good luck, right?
Are we gonna say that the mechanics that can't be denied? Are we gonna say that's reliable? I mean, we've given one example.
Yeah. Let's see. Mechanics that cannot be denied. I feel like I know those under. That's kind of like in with allegiance abilities, but
I mean, Thunderers and their stupid little fumigator thing. That's can't deny that unless you kill the entire unit, which you're not going to.
What's some other things with KO? I don't play against KO as often, but when I do, it can be rough.
I mean, when you play against them, can you deny any of their mechanics? I guess no.
God, no.
I guess no. I guess that's the answer.
I mean, you can screen out some of their boats, but they're all going to shoot you anyways. So, and some of their right. Okay, well, a lot of their guns, like the Thunderers, are 12-inch range, but the big cannons are like 24, 36, right?
Yeah. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics is obviously a check. I mean, Thunderers are. I mean, just Thunderers, engine riggers, Skyward. I mean, you name it. You can spam them.
Yep.
3d6 charge they have. They don't have any casting, so get rid of
that. Yeah, they do have spell in a bottle though. But no 3d6.
But yeah, 3d6 charging they do have that. So rerolls.
No, not particularly. They'll have a ton of rerolls, right? Yeah.
I don't think they do either.
No rerolls. And we better be in agreement on this last one.
Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah, get in the ship. Yeah. You're gonna get in the ship, and then we're gonna get out of the ship.
Okay.
Done. You can play 2 rounds of battle tactics. Good job.
No
great tactical skill.
And if we had to go with, meta, these are the most reliable army so far, which does not surprise me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Okay, this one I need help with because I don't know these guys very well.
Let's see them.
Lumineth. So. Buffs that do not need rolls.
That's definitely a pass. You're going to be needing to roll for like all of your buffs. All of your buffs are going to be spells. Yeah, not all. So they've got some allegiance abilities, but it's going to be all buffs. Okay. It's going to be spell buffs. But you've got good casting, so it is in a way reliable, but can be denied right now, especially right now.
Yeah, true.
Right, archers, right, making them do mortal wounds on 5-ups, right?
Power of Hish, isn't that what that is?
Yep, exactly. Doubling the movement speed, speed Hish. I mean, yeah.
And it feels bad when you don't get those off. It feels bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Amount of dice rolled for attacks. I would say check on this. The only one that I really know of, though, I can't speak to this. The only one I know of is the archers, right?
So archers, you can do wardens as well. Wardens have a good amount, right? They're very much a mid tier. They're very much mid tier when it comes to the amount of dice you got to roll.
Would you consider them? I would consider them a check on this. The amount of dice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a check.
If we're gonna give it to IDK, IDK, then I think these guys would also get it.
They've just got less dice than IDK to work with, but there's more mortal wounds, so in a way it balances out.
Sure. Legion's abilities, I don't know these very well.
Legion's abilities is going to be things like Ymetrica, right? That's going to be like you just ignore one rend, and you're ignoring two rend.
What's their just?
I've heard you're familiar with. There's Zytrek, right? +1 to casting.
Yeah, but these are all. Yeah, but you're talking about. I mean, they are Legion's abilities, but what is like just their normal battle traits?
Oh, yeah. The other thing is going to be like Aether.
Oh, Aether Quartz.
Yeah, Aether Quartz cannot be denied.
Yeah,
it happens.
Sure.
Not done.
I mean, they do have a downside to them, but like, who cares? Like, no one cares about that.
Matter. You're going to be giving that +1 to save on Avlinor, ignoring
I know.
All that defense, finest hour, ignoring 2 rend.
Yeah, Dan would know.
Ignoring 5 rend.
Yeah. Okay, mechanics that can't be denied.
They don't really have a whole lot of these. They actually do have a lot of deniable things. Especially right now. Teclis can be denied. He's on a 10. He only casts on a 10 right now.
Right now he can, for sure.
In a normal meta, casting on a 10 unless you're playing against Tzeentch is oppressive.
Cows can't.
Can what?
Cannot be denied. You cannot deny their -2.
Yeah, that's true.
-2
that's true.
Stupid deny rend thing.
Yep.
Kind of a wide book in that range. Do we consider the mechanics that can't be denied? Do we consider that reliable? I don't think so.
The other thing is the wind guys, the big wind archers. Yeah. They can shoot and then just move again.
Ooh,
just run away.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They can get onto the objectives. There's a lot of movement shenanigans you can do with those guys. They got a little nerfed, so they're a little bit more in price than I think they should be.
I'll give it to them.
But yeah.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics.
There's a lot of people who've got 40 archers.
I know.
Right?
I know. I mean, you kind of have to just go with that.
Yeah.
3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. Oh yes, they've got a bunch of this.
Yeah. A lot of good casting bonuses, a lot of things like that. Right. Yep.
Rerolls.
That's mainly 3d6 charges. I don't think they have access to that.
Well, I mean, Speed of Hish gives them what?
It doubles their move characteristics.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Having your
you don't need a 3d6 charge when you double your movement.
Unless they make a 6-inch redeploy.
Sure.
But then you can't get there in the first place because cavalry can move 24 inches and then charge.
Yeah, you're fine. I think probably.
You're probably fine. A lot of good movement shenanigans.
Ability reroll. I don't think they have any rerolls, right? I don't know.
You can reroll from Aether Quartz certain things like casting rolls. So there is some casting roll rerolls in the book. They're a little bit more on the rare side though, but they are definitely there. It's still there.
Would you consider it enough to be reliable?
Aether Quartz. Let me double check to see if Aether Quartz lets you do that. I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm pretty sure you can use Aether Quartz for a reroll casting roll.
And I think their battle tactics are not great, right?
They're very mid, especially if you're not running Teclis. Now, if you go full on cow spam, then yeah, they're bad battle tactics. But there is some okay things. I'm going to lean more on the pass than the rest, though.
I would probably lean that way as well.
But let me double check. I'm pretty sure you can use that for your reroll casting rolls.
If you can, then it's definitely a check for sure.
Aether Quartz, you can add 1 to save, you can add 1 to hit rolls when they shoot and fight, or you can, after it is attempted a spell, but before unbinding any spells, you can either add 1 to the casting roll or reroll that casting roll. So actually, that's pretty reliable.
Oh, okay.
You get to choose.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And there is subfactions that give you more Aether Quartz. So you can have like 2 Aether Quartz per unit. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is going to be interesting. Need to not roll for buffs.
Yep. You don't have to roll for a lot of buffs. I mean, casting rolls, actually. No, you have to roll for spells.
You do have to roll for
but
spells.
There's a lot of
they do get, like, 6 inches to the spells. They get +1 to casting. What else do they get for buffs? I want to say this is a check. They get a lot of stuff that they... there's a lot of spells, though. But we're talking about for buffs, right? Not necessarily damage.
So for buffs, you can give 5-up ward off of the Starseer equal to the battle round.
You can cast through people. Yeah, I'm going to say...
You can cast through people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say check.
Again, it gets more to Allegiance abilities, but -1 incoming damage to all your source, right? Your big dinos. That just happens.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, so amount of dice rolled for attacks. This is a pass. Like,
yeah.
Other than, like, I mean, like Agrodons, maybe. I don't even think they have that many attacks. I don't remember, but
you can get a lot of it. So the main thing, honestly, isn't even really Agrodons. While they definitely are a great hammer, don't get me wrong. I think that there's a lot of for Source Warriors, right? You can get them to extra rend. You can Hoarfrost them, so you can make them with spears. So now they're hitting on 2 or 3, right?
But as a Seraphon player, again, it's a wide book because you have two.
A very deep book, yeah.
You have 2 extremely different playstyles in this.
Yep.
So. Amount of dice rolled for attacks. Would you consider that, from a competitive standpoint, would you consider that reliable for what they want to do? I want to say pass because most of the time...
If we're going with Starborn, then no. If we are going with Coalesce, yes.
Yeah.
That's the real difference, because Starborn could give really less of a crap. They'll bring... So the Arc of Sotek is 20 attacks, right? 6 to hit our mortal wounds. It's like Drytrove, essentially, in melee, right? Cheap little monster, right? You see those in a lot of Starborn lists as well. But they get killed pretty quick, too. But they're always 2 safe.
I'm not going to give them a benefit from either, because I think they play so differently from both sides.
They really do. Depends on sub-faction.
Yeah. Allegiance abilities, these are pretty good.
They're... Even Coalesce, right, which is the not as good one,
they're
is
still
really good.
The little Jaws thing, it's a lot of good stuff.
Yep.
Mechanics that can't be denied. This is a check.
So they've got in Coalesce, you've got a lot of pre-game moves as well, right? Because I want to talk about both sides of the book, give both things, because there is good in both sides. Pre-game moves, right? That can go a long way for your foot slogging, Croxagores or Saurus. But then we get to CP points or Celestial Power points, right? CPP points.
Yeah.
And GW, what the hell? Right?
I mean, they can be denied. You can unbind them.
No, not Celestial Power point. Okay, you can unbind Seraphon, but they can basically cast anywhere on the board. So they deploy all the way in the far back corner, right? Yeah. Especially if it's Croak. Yeah. You can cast through units. You're going to not be able to realistically deny them unless you're playing a really high magic army.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Even with primals.
You're not wrong.
Even with primals. And then once you get those Celestial Power points, cool, everything, a bunch of things suffer D6 mortal wounds. Or summon. Right?
Yeah.
Or summon.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics is a check.
Yep.
Just look at their spell lore. Now, you can't spam them, but there's so much of it that you can't really... Well, I mean, even... Heck, you can spam some of them. Croak.
You can spam... but you've also got spam Source Warriors and Croxagores. You can really lean heavily into those War Scrolls for your army with that -1 damage. I think there's absolutely some really good potential there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
3d6 charge, 3d6 casts. I mean... okay, so specifically, are they adding dice to abilities?
They can do 3d6 charge. I'll double check that, but that's more in Coalesce from what I remember. Okay. Let's see. They do have spells for 3d6 cast though, but that's more on the Coalesce side than it is on the.
So we're just saying
Starboard.
Check on both then.
Let's see. Let me double check. I'm on YPD right now. If I'd like to load. Yeah, you just let's see. Come on.
Rerolls. I don't think they have any rerolls. We can pass that. All right, so I'm going to say pass on this.
Yeah,
they don't have any rerolls. And I can't see what their battle tactics are. I don't remember if they were good or not.
Let's see. I'll pull them up real quick. If there's any notable ones, since I'm here. They're grand strats, right? Let's start with that. Let's see. It's basically defend the realm engine, right?
Yeah.
Seraphon in each quarter. No. Really, the main thing is defending the realm engine, but you're not going to take that over spellcasting Savant because the big toads are right. So not right now. I'm going to say pass, but
battle tactics.
Celestial Obliteration. Picked an enemy on the board. You complete this battle tactic if a unit is destroyed by mortal wounds caused by a spell or abilities of an endless spell. We say it's pretty reliable, all things considered. Let's see. Pick an objective controlled by the enemy. You complete this battle tactic if at the end of the turn you control that objective and all friendly units have the skink keyword. You can build that.
Yeah, but is that reliable? Like, it's not reliable if you don't have skinks, right?
I mean, exactly, but you have to build into that, right? A lot of these you have to build into it, but except Celestial Obliteration, unless you're going. It really depends on the subfaction.
I mean, at the end of the day, are the battle tactics and grand strategies reliable?
I'm going to say for these guys, not as much.
Okay.
Not as much.
Okay. Alright, so... Now, granted, that book is very wide. There's very different ways to play that book, so...
Yeah, for sure.
Alright. Stormcast! Oh boy, this is going to be rough for Stormcast.
Yep.
This is going to be rough. Sorry, boys.
Yeah.
The need to not roll for buffs.
I mean, they're actually. I'm gonna give them here. Give them here. They have that, right? Gardas, right?
Okay.
They're very hero focused.
Okay. This book is super large too, so there's going to be corner cases throughout pretty much each one of these, I think.
Exactly.
But for the most part, from a competitive standpoint,
you don't have to roll for those. Gardas,
okay, give me another example of Gardas.
Let's see. Oh my god, I got another guy on the tip of my tongue.
Appearance, you don't need to roll. He just gives.
Yeah, I don't have to roll for that. There's what's the guy with the shield and the halberd? They've got it's Lord something. Lord Castellant. He just gives a +1 to save. You can stack that, right? It's wholly within 18 as well, which is really nice.
All right, I'll give it to you then. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Amount of dice.
Very low.
Yeah, there's maybe
low amount of dice.
Jeez, is there even?
They're quality.
Yeah, but you're not rolling. Okay, quality dice is great, but you have to get them all through, and that to me is not reliable.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna pass on this. I don't think they have anything that's crazy amount of dice.
I agree.
The only thing the only thing I can think of for this are the stupid shooters that you put dice in if they hit.
Yes, those guys, the Bolt Storm crossbows.
Those guys suck. They can get a lot of attacks in.
Yep, if you're playing against Soulblight,
that's a very corner case, I would say, for the most part.
For the most part, right?
They do not have a lot of dice that they're rolling. They're very quality dice, but there's not a lot of them.
And it is something in the book you can build into. You can build into Vandus Hammerhand, giving 3 attacks to Vindictor. It was cool, right? But yeah, in general, they're quality, not quantity.
Correct. And that's basically what their units are too. Quality. You don't get a lot of them, but they're very quality. Allegiance abilities.
They're very okay. You either have, you can
These
Deep
are
Strike.
Not good. These are not
Deep
good.
Strike. Guaranteed Deep Strike.
Okay,
your opponent cannot mess with anything on the board.
That's one thing. And then Deep Strike is not necessarily good.
With access to a 7-inch charge, Deep Strike.
Unless you're spamming that, which we'll get to in a second. I would agree with you. But there are plenty of people out there, Margonk could tell you, how many charges he's failed with Annihilators using Deep Strike.
It's not even the ability to Deep Strike and then charge. It's the ability to Deep Strike anywhere on the board, get objectives, and threaten the opponent. Because when you have Deep Strike, your opponent has to deal with it. It is something that is reliable in that sense, in that if your opponent
I
doesn't deal
just
with
think
it.
there's better ways to do that than the allegiance abilities. Like there's Zephyros that
Yeah.
can teleport, or there's a bunch of those dudes that can teleport.
The other one, if you really build into it, right, is the
Translocation.
defender.
Although
Well,
that
yeah,
can go off
that's
too.
off the spell.
That can also go
Right.
off. That could go bad too.
Let me pull up what it's specifically called, but you can count as more on an objective, right? Which is, I think,
The
definitely
one that
better
I'm
now.
thinking about is the stupid you die and 6s do immortal back.
It's trash.
It's real bad. It's real
It's
bad.
real bad.
And
It's real bad.
really unreliable.
Yeah.
So I guess, what are we saying? Again, this book is so large. Do we want
You
to
can
say
give
the
them
allegiance abilities in general are reliable? I
So
lean
you've got-
towards no.
You've got your sub-factions, right? Because those are technically
Which
under your legions.
aren't great. They're okay.
Yeah. I think Shield of Civilization as well is pretty reliable. So Shield of Civilization is right in the first 2 battle rounds. If the objective is partially or wholly within your territory, they count as 3 each. For a unit of 10 Vindictors, that's 220 points for 30 models.
I would
Essentially,
agree.
on the
I would consider that reliable.
Then, on the 3rd battle round onward, it's basically all objectives on the board. They count as 3 each. But that's going to just be your Redeemer units.
I don't know, man.
I know. I'm playing good cop, you're playing bad cop today.
I know. I don't think their allegiance abilities are very reliable. But then again, I don't run a lot of corner case allegiance abilities. Like, I'm thinking about the stupid die on death thing. I'm thinking, like, stuff like that. Now, I will say the deep strike thing is great. I'm not denying that. But I think that might be, like, really the only thing that's, like, quote-unquote reliable. And even then, I think, especially with a lot of new players, they think deep strike's great, and then they get down and fail that charge, and then their units die.
It's real bad. It sucks. Don't get me
bad.
wrong. Grandhammers failing their 7-inch charge is rough.
Feels real bad. And then they die next turn, and you're like, okay, cool, great. You love this allegiance ability. I'm gonna say pass on this. It might be a hot take, but I'm gonna say pass.
I'm okay with that.
Mechanics that can't be denied.
So that's going to be, in my opinion, things. They don't really have a lot of those. They're all War Scroll based, and they're all going to be buffs that you don't have to roll for. They don't really have a lot of that. They play a pretty honest game.
Yeah, I agree. So pass on this.
I'm going to say pass. Yeah,
I agree. I think you're right. Spamming certain abilities and mechanics. Now we already gave the Annihilator spam, so we have to just check this. Right?
Annihilator spam, long strike spam. If you really want to go that way, right? You know, heavy shooting. This book is a Swiss Army knife, right? You pull out, the War Scroll for the right tool, or for the right job, right?
3d6 cast, 3d6 charge. There's so many scrolls in this book. There's probably yes on both of these, but I have no idea.
3d6 charge. I don't think they have access to 3d6 charge. I don't think they have access to 3d6 casting as well.
Okay, so there's no way they can add dice to the abilities.
No.
Okay.
No. Otherwise, I would have found that for Annihilators. No, there's nothing like that for Annihilators.
I mean, it's becoming a not reliable book, which honestly is probably pretty accurate.
Yep.
The ability to reroll, even though rerolls pass. Right?
Reroll charges. Right. Reroll charges. They come down with the.
Yes.
They do have that.
Yeah, you're right.
They do have that. Dragons have that reroll as well. Gardas gives off a reroll Oro Holy within 12 once per game.
I'll give it to you.
Plus 1
Check.
attacks.
Yep.
It's all reroll charges. Let me just be clear with that. It's all charges.
There's no reroll hits or anything like that, but you do have some rerolls, which is reliable. That helps.
You can get exploding 6s, but no one runs that stuff action.
Okay.
Other than me, I love
battle tactics, grand strategy. I think these were not great.
Trash. Throw them in the bin. It's horrible. Just rip out that page in your book and just never look at it again.
All right, moving on. All right.
Sylvaneth.
From playing Sylvaneth today. Here we go. All right, the need to not roll for buffs.
Fail.
What?
Okay, actually, no.
Okay. There's a lot you have to roll for here.
There is. So the main
thing
that
you have to roll for here.
So the main thing why I'm like pass is Spite Swarm Hive, right? You gotta get off the endless spell, and then you have to roll a 2-up.
Yeah, that's a no. That's not reliable.
Yeah, It's not reliable. It's not reliable for sure. For sure.
Is there any
The other
abilities
thing,
that these guys have that just you don't need to roll; they just get?
so the healing, we had to start. We didn't
Sure.
come into effect for our game,
One,
right?
yes,
Healing.
sure, okay.
The other thing would be
That's an allegiance ability too, by the way. I think
there.
the
So
healing.
there's gonna be like their elite, huh?
I think the healing's an allegiance ability.
It is legion ability,
Yeah.
but it's one of the mechanics that
Sure,
right.
sure. I'm just thinking about
Um,
like I'm thinking about
so there's not so the +1 to wound I would say is coming from like the Arch Revenant, right? It's like a holy within
sure,
12 aura.
sure.
So it's +1 to wound on a Kurnoth, and that's +1 to wound in shooting as well, which
There
is
are
relatively good.
I think there are some summons that aren't you don't need to roll for, right? I know Alariel's
Alario,
free.
Alario
What about
is a perfect
Lady
example.
of the Vines? Is that free? Or do you have to roll
Her
like a 2-up? I think it's
it's
a
on a
2-up.
2-up.
God
It's a
damn
2-up.
it, it's so
It's a
bad.
2-up.
It's so
Yeah.
terrible. It's so bad. Guess who's rolling that one? This guy.
Yep. Yep.
This is why we're doing the show, to figure out what is most reliable, and I don't consider that
So
reliable.
exactly. But she also is a 2-cast wizard. She's a war master. She's got a 5-up ward spell.
All right.
It's
At
nice
the end of the day,
when she.
I
Yeah,
do not
yeah.
think they have a whole lot of buffs that you don't need to roll for.
They're very few and far between. You
I'm
have to
thinking
roll for
like
a lot
even
of them.
think of like
You do.
fight lasts, stuff like
It's a 3-up.
it,
Yep.
like
You have to roll for that.
I think
Yep.
this is very heavy on rolling relatively well for their
I
buffs,
agree.
for their buffs at least.
I agree.
Which is sad, but I think it's true. There
Yep.
might be there's definitely some corner cases. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, you have to roll for the
Yeah.
buffs.
Yep.
We all know about Spite Swarm, so
Fight swarms. 6 Kurnoths doing anything.
God,
Right.
and they're 4s and 3s. Man of dice roll. Let's get to that. The only one that benefits, I think, from this are Spite Revenants. Everything else,
No. Kurnoths as well. Kurnoths have a lot of attacks. They're gonna be like 3.
yeah, that's not. Yeah, but you only get 5 of them. This isn't like a plague monk.
No, you get 6 of them. You get 6 of them.
6 attacks for 3.
I believe so. With the swords, it's 4 attacks each. So scythes are 3 rend, which that does have to be taken into consideration.
But I disagree. You got to think about reliability, right? You're swinging those
So-
swords in. If it's 4 attacks and they're on 4s and 3s, it's not reliable.
Kurnoths. Oh no. All the melee Kurnoths are 3s and 3s, and you can give them +1 to wound pretty easily.
Yeah.
So the scythes are 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, 3 rend, 2 damage. The swords are 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage, but 6s are 2 mortal wounds in attack
But
sequences.
see, I go back to the Stormcast thing. I feel like these are more elite units rather than mass amount of attacks like Plague Monks.
That's true.
Let
That's true.
me ask you this. I've got 20 Plague Monks at 4 attacks each.
Okay.
Are they going to do more damage than a 3-pack of swords? No buffs.
many-
Just literally
So-
the amount of dice.
Remember, those plague rats are on 3s and 4s.
Sure, but I think they have
4s on the wound roll with no rend,
no
right?
rend.
Unless you roll 6s. We're
We're
on
talking
the wound
about
roll.
and 6s they get like crazy.
I'm
rend.
going with Kurnoths. They're going to do more damage. They have more rend. They do more damage.
I disagree. In fact, I can tell you. I'll tell you right now. I can tell you for per point to damage, which one's more reliable.
Per point. Now that's if you're talking about like 2, because Kurnoths for a unit of, 3 of them, right? 3 of them is 220 points. So yeah, they're elite, but you can also strike and fade them.
Okay, so for 220 points, I can get
13 attacks.
no,
3s and
hold
3s.
on. I can get 20, almost 30 Plague Monks for that much.
Yep.
And I still feel like I'm doing more damage with the Plague Monks. Now, maybe not by much.
You can throw out if you're going into zombies, absolutely, but it really depends on what you're going into.
I'm
really
just
depends on
saying,
what
I don't care about who you're
Yeah.
fighting. I don't care about what the profile is for who you're fighting. Remember, I'm thinking about reliability. I'm thinking about reliability of you rolling and getting those attacks.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like, if they have a 3-up save or a 2-up save, you might be right. you might be doing more with the greatswords. But guess what? I'm gonna get more attacks through, just regardless. I'm
It's
getting
true.
more attacks through with the plague monks than I am the swords.
See, the main thing is I hate wounding on 4s because that's where I roll all the 3s.
True. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's the main thing, right?
I just think that in general, Sylvaneth is a very
it's like I think one of the swingiest factions in the game because of Spirit of Earthu. If you roll a 1 on his greatsword, right?
Feels bad.
You just lost 6 damage.
Yeah, it feels
Did you
bad.
roll 3 1s? You just lost
But
18
that's why I'm
damage.
saying I think amount of dice in general. There might be corner cases. In corner cases.
In general.
I think that this is a pass.
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree in general, right?
In general.
Tree Lords aren't rolling a lot of dice. They're quality of dice, but they're not a lot of dice.
Oh. I mean, even Alariel, she's rolling like 4 or 5 dice in her attacks.
Yep, she's really not rolling.
You get them through, you're doing like 20, 25 damage. But it's very few and far between.
Yep.
Not reliable. Definitely not worth her price. Allegiance abilities, these are good. I think this makes they're reliable. Now you can screen them out, like I did today for the most part.
Yep.
What else do they give other than strike? Strike and phase is really good.
So there's going to be their glades. So these are going to be these are bonuses outside their sub faction. You can get reroll casting roll and not reroll and binding roll. You can get a 6-up ward if you have not charged. You can get exploding 6s, but you decrease your teleporting from the trees by 3 inches, which is you should never really take that. Just don't. Just promise me, don't take Everdusk.
I don't think it's terrible.
It's not terrible, but the way you build Everdusk playing Sylvaneth is that you bring Kurnoth hunters, who whenever they get onto an objective, everything on that objective
is
counts. Yeah, gets that bonus, right? So you don't have to worry about that 6-inch.
So
the other thing is adding 3 inches for the tree ability. So wholly within 12 to teleport, right? And wholly within 12 to teleport out.
So are we saying that their Allegiance abilities are reliable?
Yes, absolutely. Strike and Fade is reliable. If you are in combat, you can strike and fade out.
The only reason I say that they aren't reliable is because you can, not always, but you can.
So keep in mind, with Strike and Fade, it does not have to be a unit that is charged that turn. You can fight last a unit, hit it to run away.
Yeah, but if running away, if I'm screening your overgrown or your tree or whatever, you can't go back.
If you have screened, so I'm imagining a situation where it's like, how do we stop Strike and Fade, right? If you got to be on all of the terrain or all of the overgrown terrain,
yeah, I
right?
mean it's gonna be far and few between.
And the other trees.
All right, I'll give it to you.
They have. It's pretty hard to deny Strike and Fade.
Sure.
You can deny charges.
So that kind of. I say okay. So other than Allegiance abilities like Strike and Fade, mechanics that can't be denied.
So that's going to be things like the teleports off the Tree Lords.
But they can be denied though.
You could screen them out, but he's going to be able to teleport. I don't have to teleport far. I can teleport on the board to get that wholly within 6 surround and destroy.
Give me some more other
so
things.
Surround and destroy. That's going to be mechanics like the +1 to wound off heroes, right? We did that with Idoneth Deepkin. They've got that as well. That will be like Alariel, right? Mechanics. She summons in. She's bringing an extra tree.
Oh, you know what? Just overgrown, just in general.
Overgrown tree. Yeah, just happens.
All right, I'll give it to you. I got you.
Yeah. I will still get that wholly within 9. I get a 6-up ward, right?
If you're taking Lady of Vines, she's got the little aura thing. Yeah.
The other thing as well is even if you have used Smash to Rubble on Awakened Wildwoods,
you still get to use it.
I still get that bonus, so it really cannot be denied.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics.
Strike and Fade. I mean, you're using that every game, but
yeah, but you can't only do it once, and you can't do it on. You can only do it on your turn.
It's true. So
I don't know
another.
You're not spamming that.
That's fair. That's fair.
The only one that I can think of for this is I would say yes, because one of the metas is the stupid
bugs.
Yeah.
If you bring like 9 bugs.
Yeah. Good luck getting through that, and they spam them, and you can do it. So I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Not that it's crazy, but like Tree Lords.
Yeah, I mean the main thing I only bring about 2 Tree Lords in my list. I've never really needed regular Tree Lords.
I have 2. I was looking at my Oakenbrow list today after we got done.
Yeah.
I'm running 2 Ancients, not 1.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I'm running 2 Ancients, not 1.
I don't really like 2 Ancients. I think they're
do just because I like them, but that's
It's
the only
true.
reason.
They got their beard.
Yeah.
They got their tree beard.
They're
I love it.
cool. All right, add a 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. Yes, they have it.
Yes, they do have 3d6 casting.
Yep.
Yep. Which makes like Gnarl Root, right?
Yep. Rerolls.
And they have access to rerolls. Yep.
What are they rerolling?
They can reroll casting rolls.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. You're wrong.
Yep.
Battle tactics, grand strategies.
Yes. For battle tactics, not for grand strategies. Kill things from the Awakened Wild.
Would you consider them reliable?
Yes. Sylvaneth.
From the wood.
So killing something next to an Awakened Wildwood.
Dude,
within 12 of it.
Are these reliable? Like super reliable? I don't know.
So, March of the Forest Lords, pick one enemy monster on the battlefield. You complete this if that monster is slain by an attack made by Spirited Earthu, Tree Lord Ancient, or Tree Lord.
It's going to be real sad when you miss all those attacks.
Now, let me just be clear. For those battles, I really only play like 2 different types of Sylvaneth lists. I usually lean heavy into Oakenbrow. So that March of the Forest Lords, I'm getting on every game if they have a monster, right? Because I have 4 Tree Lords that are available for that battle tactic.
You're going to be real sad when you go into something that like a Maw Crusher.
No, Maw Crusher's easy.
You fail your fight last.
No, you just need Spirited Earthu. Spirited Earthu with big old bonk.
Or you miss your charge. What if you miss your charge?
For Spirited Earthu, and again, it's situational.
I don't know if it's reliable though. I don't know if I pick that and I'm definitely making that charge.
So I compare that battle tactic to something like Stormcast, which is an example of a bad battle tactic. It's get this enemy unit that is not wounded or a monster that has not taken any wounds.
Yeah.
There can be a Maw Crusher on 1 wound left.
Sure.
And I can be like, cool, battle tactic. Bam.
Do you remember there was a game that you told me about? What was it? Belladama, I think it was? Where you had to do 1 damage.
1 damage. With 1 character. In my list, I'm running 4 of these guys.
Reliable?
I'm saying reliable. I'm saying reliable.
I'll give it to you just because you're a bigger Sylvaneth fan than me. I don't think they're reliable. I would pick one of those.
We can do a check pass here. We can put a yellow on this one.
Okay. I would pick one of those battle tactics and I would fail it, whether it's the charge or I fail all of my rolls.
I will say that the charge is much harder now than it used to be because we lost the battle mage for the additional +2 to charge. That one is definitely much less reliable, for sure.
All right, we're doing it that way then. All right, let's move on here.
Alrighty.
Beast Chaos.
This one I'm not as familiar with.
Well, I know they've got things that you don't need to buff, so you don't need to roll for.
So the main thing is like faction abilities. You don't have to roll for those. Like that, they're extra rend.
Well, that's allegiance abilities. That's definitely a check.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you get doubled by a Beast of Chaos player, you're in some trouble.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about the allegiance ability. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Amount of dice rolled for attacks. That's definitely a check.
Yeah. They roll a lot of dice.
You can definitely spam attacks. Mechanics that can't be denied. That heroic action sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah.
If you've ever lost something to round 1, really is not fun.
Yep. And I will also say we'll get to this later, but you can't not talk about it because it is included in so many lists. As we're getting into Chaos, Be'lakor.
Yeah, Be'lakor. Yeah. Now he's not reliable. He's not reliable. We can agree to disagree. That 3-up is not going to happen for certain things.
But it's a mechanic that can't be denied.
True. It can't be denied, but you can roll like crap.
You can roll like crap, but you only need to roll 1 of those out of like 3 separate things to go right. Right? When you need movement, you need charges, and you need combat.
I think you'd feel differently if you failed both the charge and the combat for the Melee
Oh,
snakes.
I've absolutely done it. I've absolutely done it with Be'lakor, but it is a mechanic that cannot be denied.
That's true. That's true.
Right. So I'm giving it checks in that remark.
We'll get there.
Reliability.
Bellacor's,
Yeah.
he's later.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you could. You can't use him in Beast of Chaos, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yep,
Yeah.
you can.
Oh, he's included all the time.
Yeah. No, you're right.
All
you're
the
right,
time.
You're right.
People deep strike their whole army and just leave Be'lakor on the field.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I think Dane does it a lot.
Yeah.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. Yes.
The main thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gores. Bulgors.
Gores. Bulgors out of deep strike, right? Running like 12 of them.
Raiders shooting. I say check on this.
Yeah.
3d6 charge. Yep. I'm pretty sure they have
Do they have
3d6 charge. Not casts. I want to say maybe they have both.
So, and again, this is more when we get to allies, but they can. Oh no, they don't have the Slaanesh market. Never mind. Never mind.
I think they can do 3d6 charge.
The main thing I know is that they can deep strike like 6 inches away from you from deep strike.
I'm just thinking, can they add dice to abilities? God, I wish I knew this.
I've never really found that to be true. I haven't seen that in my games.
We're gonna say pass, and this is just because for whoever's watching this, whether it's on YouTube or versus live or not live, could be wrong. Yeah. Correct me in the comments.
Not familiar with Beast of Chaos as much.
Ability reroll.
They don't really have that many rerolls.
I don't think they have any rerolls.
They don't have very many rerolls.
We're gonna get like a bunch of hate. Like someone's gonna watch this and be like, "You guys messed this up."
I've been playing Beast of Chaos for 30 years.
Oh god, their battle tactics are not. If I remember them, they are not reliable.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, 2 more friendly units wholly on a terrain feature that's wholly. Okay, that one's doable.
Okay. Okay.
I can only pick this in your first or second. General and 2 more friendly beasts of chaos within 3 inches of enemy units. If you fail one of those charges or 2 of them, it's gonna feel real bad.
Yep. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no too. No. You have to kill something within the Herdstone. Could be denied.
Yeah.
That has 10 or more models, and you control the objective. That's probably fine. Target fraction destroyed with a ritual of ruin. Nope, definitely not doing that. That's not reliable.
Yeah.
And mortal wounds allocated by the charge phase. Nope. It's gonna be not reliable, dog.
Now, that you gotta remember with Bulgors, that I think could happen very situationally.
If you fail your charge.
If you fail your charge, that's fair. But it's like a 6-inch charge.
Guess what? Guess what?
I've had experiences for failing 4-inch charges with Durthu. I understand the pain.
All right.
I understand the pain.
All right. Next, Blades of Khorne. This might
Definitely.
Be hot. I don't know. We might have a hot take on this one.
Yep.
All right. The need to not roll for buffs. This is.
No. No. A couple of them. Okay. War Scroll dependent. You can do that. Like 3d6 charge happens. +1 attacks happens. Right. Once per game. Their Blood Tithe, right, for fight twice, things like that. And a d6 move. You don't have to roll for that.
Don't get it mixed with the illusion spells. Keep them separate.
That's fair. A lot of War Scroll buffs.
They have so many heroes. There's got to be a bunch of these that have
+3 to charge and +3 to move.
That just happens,
that's
right?
a big thing. Just happens. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's enough for me. I mean, that's fine. Amount of dice. That's check.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bloodletters. What else is spammy with a bunch of attacks?
Even the mortals. So some of the Skull Reapers have like 4 attacks each, which for a 5-man squad is pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay.
You can get that up to like 10 of them, right? And they are like mortal wounds in addition to crazy stuff like that.
Okay, here we go. This is gonna be a hot take here. Allegiance abilities. Yep. Are these reliable?
You can play a game where nothing dies, but probably things are probably gonna die.
Things are probably gonna die, but will they deny when you will you get them when you need them? Will you get enough when you need them?
You can you can bring super trash units, right? Flesh Hounds, certain mortal units throw them onto an objective,
Is
and
it
your opponent,
reliable, though?
your opponent could, you could play a game where nothing dies. And I've played that game with Fyreslayers, right, where nothing died until like turn 2, turn 3, and then everything died. So it can be denied. However, in most games,
It will not.
it
I
yeah,
get.
it's true.
Do we? My biggest issue with the allegiance abilities is the one that you need. You might not have enough blood tithe to get.
That's true. Now it's not just you can get blood tithe through other means.
You
That
can.
is
You
what
can.
makes it
There's
a little
a
bit
there's a
more reliable.
prayer that gives you it. There's some other things that you can
Yep.
do.
Yep.
This one's tough for me. I can go back and forth on this because is the allegiance abilities are the allegiance abilities reliable? I
I'm
say
gonna say
they
they're
aren't.
pretty reliable. I'm gonna
Alright.
say they are.
We're doing check pass on this.
Yeah. There's a reason why porn is like taking wins all the time.
I agree. I'll give it to you. I'll just give it to you. I feel like if I were to play this army, I would never get enough blood type points to do what I want to do.
Khorne is they're deceivingly strategic. They should be Unga Bunga Iron Jaws, but they're just not.
Yeah. All right, mechanics that can't be denied.
Invocations.
Okay.
Invocations, prayers can't be denied. Forgot to talk about that with Fyreslayers and just in general. Anything that has priests
I'll give it to you.
is a big bonus in my book
I'll give it to you.
because you can't deny it. Yeah.
Like spamming certain abilities or mechanics. I mean, you
Now,
can spam bloodthirsters, but like you don't see that a whole lot. I mean, you see.
no.
Well,
You do see
okay,
that.
you do see like 2 or 3, maybe.
You can absolutely run like 3 bloodthirsters in Scarbrand, and it is taking wins. You can also run like 2 blocks of 4 or 2 blocks of 20 bloodletters. The other thing as well is spamming a lot of mortal units and running the Skullfiend tribe for the unmodified 8-up cast or charging roll. You get the fight first ability.
Fight first, yeah. I went against
So
that.
you can really lean into that. This one is you have to when you go into something, you have to lean into it pretty hard.
Okay, I'll give it to you. 3d6 charge, 3d6 casts. Well, not cast, but
Not casts on charges. I actually don't think that they have the. They might have the ability for 3d6 charge. I'll double check, but I feel like that's something. No, they do have 3d6 charge. Bloodthirster gives a 3d6 charge.
okay.
The whippy boy, yeah. So for your bloodletters, gets them into the fray pretty fast.
And that's not just him. He just gives a 3d6 charge.
It cannot be a monster. I think it has to be like a specific.
I just want to make sure it's not one unit or it's not
Scarbrand as well has a 3d6 charge.
Because like, would that be reliable if one unit does it? No, but if he can give it to something, then yeah, that's fine.
Give it to Scarbrand or Scarbrand and a bloodletter bomb, right?
Yeah. Rerolls.
I don't believe they have those. I don't believe they have anything too crazy. I'm trying to think if they have reroll invocations. That's big. They do have reroll invocations from their War Shrine.
Is that enough to be reliable?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. For invocations, you only got one dice.
Is there anything else though? Do we want to consider that a check off of invocations?
So, because rerolling invocations is actually really rare. The Blades of Khorne are one of the only armies that have that. I think Daughters of Khaine might have that as well. But the other thing, I'm trying to see which specific guy gives that.
I can tell you right now, their battle tactics are not great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. They're very matchup dependent.
Well, Matt,
Bloodstroker,
and like, there's a lot of times a lot of it's kill something, right? And if I played against a Khorne player at the GT, or at just the Gamers Guild tourney, and he just could not get any of his battle tactics off.
Was that the one I played as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, those were tutorial games for sure.
Are we saying pass or check on the rerolls?
So I'm not seeing any reroll charges. While invocations is definitely nice, they're also a lot of them on a 4 or a 3. It's not like Stormcast where you bring High Priest and it's on a 2-up rerolling. So I'm gonna actually say pass.
Okay.
They do have very few of them, but not a lot. Not a lot.
All right. Okay, next. Oh, your faves. Tzeentch.
Let's see. Oh, are we doing Tzeentch?
Yep. So needs to not
Oh
roll
yeah.
for buffs. Ooh. I
Tzeentch -1 to hit with demons. Don't have to roll for that.
okay. That's only just an ability.
That's fair. Let's see.
I'm
They're
thinking
so intertwined.
they have to roll for a lot of their buffs. I'm trying to think of like buffs they just get, and there's not.
Fate Master. +1 to wound. That's big for shooting, right?
Okay.
If you're going if you're going flamers, you have to bring a Fate Master. So the other thing as well.
No one is running those lists. Let's be like, I can't remember the last time I saw any flamers on the table ever.
Yep.
Like it has been so long. Like they used to be good, but God, they are garbage now.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, these guys really don't focus too many.
It's all spells. It's all buffs or all their spells, right?
There's not a lot of buff spells. That's why Hoarfrost is so nice right now. Oh no. Well, Arcane Suggestion. There's been a lot of debuffs. That's the thing. We've got a lot of debuffs, but not really buffs. So debuffs with like Arcane Suggestion, -1 to your save, can't issue commands, things like that. But outside of like Mystic Shield, we don't really have a whole lot of buffs for our units.
Well, and you have to roll for it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, it's a command trait. You can override that.
Sure. Amount of dice rolled.
Playing with 20 pink horrors in their shooting phase is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I would say, yeah, because I've actually done some good damage with pinks.
Oh yeah, you can give them rend as well with their shooting. You can make them rend too, essentially.
Allegiance abilities.
Oh, they get a check on that.
Yeah,
there's
nothing.
There's literally nothing. There's literally nothing more reliable than Destiny dice.
Yeah, unless you roll like crap on the Destiny dice, but you can always get more.
And then you can re-roll them. You get more of them. Yeah. It's so good.
All right, mechanics that can't be denied. Now, don't get this mixed up with allegiance abilities.
So I'm gonna think of things like the Crystal Tower, right? Deep striking units that can't be denied. And I can deep strike one of my heroes if I need to. So let's see what we got. We've got a couple other things. The Blue Scribes, on a 2-up, that spell goes off, cannot be denied, cannot be unbound.
Sure.
And the Endless, that's more faction ability, but we can bring out an Endless spell for free. That's more allegiance ability. Enlightened. Whenever you're in combat with them, can't issue or receive commands.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Spamming.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean this is a check. You're just spamming wizards. Like that's
wizards.
The nature of the army.
Yeah, either wizards or pink horrors. That is still technically a valid strategy if you hate yourself and hate your opponent and don't want to have a fun time.
Adding dice to abilities.
Yes, absolutely. So that is going to be in the form of Destiny dice. That's going to be in the form of Beauty. So you don't have bonuses to charge, right? Did we already get to rerolls?
No,
we already get to rerolls.
Not rerolls.
No, we haven't gotten. Okay. Well, you don't add dice to that, but you can add 3 to that. No, so we don't have 3d6 casting. Funnily enough, we don't actually have that.
Okay, so you can't really add any dice to anything.
Unless you count Destiny dice, so I'm going to say pass if you don't cast Destiny dice.
Yeah. Rerolls.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got them everywhere in the book, especially for casting rolls.
Sure, yeah. Battle tactics, grand strategies. Well, grand strategies, yeah, these are pretty easy. Yeah, these are
no, battle tactics as well. Just summon a Lord of Change. Cool, you're playing Guild of Summoners, so is everyone.
It can be denied, though. That's not reliable. I disagree. You roll 2 1s on your Kairos or one of your Lord of Changes. That's gonna suck. That's
You've got rerolls. You've got the Tome, and you've got Destiny dice. You don't need to.
All right. I'll give it to you. I mean, their grand strategy is retarded. It's so stupid.
Oh yeah.
It's real dumb.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're. Yeah, in battle tactics again, unless you're somehow stopping all of my spells, which I'm going to be out of range turn 1, I can summon a Lord of Change turn 1. Easy battle tactic.
All right. Have you ever failed that?
Failed which? Casting 3 spells or summoning the Lord of Change?
Either.
So I have failed the 3 spells. That was a gamble, as I was within range. The other thing would be.
What if you miscast?
You run the Tome of Eyes.
Okay, so you get the okay.
I run Tumble Visor on Kairos for rerolling, and again, it's not even just a reroll. It's a reroll. Lowest becomes highest. There is not much more
Dude,
reliable.
I don't know, man. I 100% see myself trying to do that battle tactic and failing it. 100%.
You're on 3D on. So you've got, if you need to cast 3 spells with a unit, put that on Kairos. He's rerolling casting rolls. Lowest becomes the highest. We've got a lot of low casting spells as well, so you can get Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and a 5 casting 5 mortal wound spell. So, and you've already got +1 to cast as well. If you have another Lord of Change on the board, now it's +2 to cast. So lowest becomes highest. Reroll casting roll, +2 to cast.
If there's anyone that can do it, I will be able to do it.
If you're failing that, then there's no more. Then you need to use the Destiny dice. Then use the Destiny dice.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
They are the most reliable faction, in my opinion.
All right. Well, so far, they are not the most reliable.
By these criteria.
All right. Next.
Yeah. Slaanesh. Been getting a lot of games in with these guys.
Yeah, you should know a bit about this. All right. So. Oh my god, why is this doing this? Need to roll buffs.
Lord of Pain. You just have to be within range, and he has to be contesting an objective.
Okay, you gotta give me more than one.
And you get +1 to hit and wound. So absolutely, I would check that off. Keeper as well. You get that.
You also
fight
get
twice.
it on the archers too. Yeah, that's.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Amount of dice. That's check.
Yep, that's check.
Allegiance abilities. Oh boy.
You're guaranteed 6 depravity points, or not 6 depravity, but 6 depravity dice, right? So that's either 6
I'm gonna say it's
mortals.
reliable. Again, I've not come across a Slaanesh player that hasn't really gotten to the depravity points that they needed.
Yeah. Oh no! I'm just talking about depravity dice.
Sure.
That's reliable. You get 6 of those, and then you can either get D6 depravity, 6d6 depravity, or your opponent takes 6d3 mortal wounds.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
It's just a win,
yeah.
right?
Mechanics that can't be denied.
Again, one of those, right? You can't deny temptation dice, but that's more faction.
Yeah.
So the other mechanics that can't be denied are going to be things like the Mask, who can teleport and deep strike 3 inches away from you.
Yep, that's one that can't be denied. Yep.
Sigvald, he ignores your wards.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So ignores your wards, right? Keeper is fight twice, so the Keeper can activate that whenever she wants, and that unit can fight twice, but they can fight last. Could it technically be denied by either killing the Keeper or killing the unit fight twice?
Yeah, that's good.
Yes,
yeah.
but it's an ability that goes off that can't be denied. You can't. It's not a command ability, right? I would say yes.
Okay. Spamming, yes.
Yep.
Almost every list has like 30 Blitzbarb archers. Adding 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. Yes. Yep.
Yep. Well, that's so 3d6 charge is specifically in Slaves to Darkness, so just keep that in mind.
Oh, they don't.
That's an ally. If we're talking about this book by itself,
they get a bunch of run in charge, but not 3d6 charge.
Yeah, but not 3d6 charge. They get run in charge. They get things like that. But with the coalition rules, you can do 3d6 charge from the War Shrine.
Yeah, but that's not part of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this a pass then?
They don't have 3d6 casting and they don't have 3d6 charging.
I mean, essentially, can they add dice to anything? And I don't think they can.
Run in charge, but yeah.
Okay, so this is a pass.
Yeah.
Rerolls.
Contorted Epitome.
That's
mic drop.
That's like one thing.
Mic drop.
That's it? Okay, great.
Contorted Epitome.
Battle tactics and grand strategies. The grand strategy can be easy.
It's so matchup dependent that I'm actually gonna say so the grand strategies of don't summon. That's a extremely valid one, right? Just don't even summon.
That's the one that I'm thinking about, but I don't know what their battle tactics look like.
The battle tactics I'm gonna say are fairly consistent. Charging 3 units, pretty easy when you got run and charge. The other thing it'd be like
can be denied.
If you're also running God Seekers, that's the other thing is that I'm a little skewed here, right?
Running or charging with 3, I don't like. That's not reliable.
It really depends, because the keeper moves 14.
Yeah, but you get
I'm
a
sorry.
6-inch redeploy.
We actually do have a 3d6 charge. It is in Godseekers is where we get that 3d6 charge off the Keeper of Secrets.
Okay, I'm gonna do that with Allegiance abilities.
Yeah. It's just one thing, but it's also a spell that can do the night.
But that 3-6 or that having 3 charge, someone rolls a 6 on their redeploy, you could fail
For
that.
3d6 charge?
No.
Oh.
If you have 3 units that need a charge in a turn, they get a 6, and then now it's a 9-inch charge, and you fail it.
So you also have to keep in mind the context for the units that you're charging. If you've got Slickblade Seekers, they're moving 14 with an additional d6 for their run-in charge.
Yep.
You can multi-charge into separate units. You've got the Keeper, who moves, again, 14 inches. You've got, let's see, Sigvald, he's got his Godseeker's ability as well.
I don't know, man. I played Dan, and he only got like 2 dudes up the board.
Now remember, there's Pretenders is the castle shooting, and I'm going to get into their battle tactics as well. Another good battle tactic for them is control an objective with a demon and a mortal. That's pretty easy.
Okay, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Generic, because we're doing specifics. Generically, are their battle tactics and grand strategies reliable?
I would agree. I would say there are, but not for the grand. So for grand strategies, no. Battle tactics, yes, in my opinion.
Okay. Do we do a check pass on this one?
I've had a very low rate of failure on the battle tactics. Grand strategies is a different story.
Which is surprising to me. It's because that's the only one that I know is easy.
The other one is damaging a unit with 3 separate units.
So what do we want to do first? Check pass, or do we want to do pass?
I think we'll do check pass on that one.
Okay.
Oh, Nurgle.
Not reliable. These guys are not reliable. Okay. The need to not roll for buffs.
I'm
trying to think of like buffs I get that I just get. I mean, the only one that comes to mind is what buffs does he give?
That's more counter charge shenanigans, but not.
It.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of is Slimux gives Beasts of Nurgle a bonus.
+1 hit, right? He does. Yeah. Or actually, there's the snail guy.
Like, that's
Particulus.
Yeah, that's Slimux.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Spoilpox and Scrivener.
Yep.
So that's a check. Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that yet.
Yep.
Amount of dice.
Floppy Piper.
The only one that I can think. Well, amount of dice. I'm for Blight King. I know I'm going to get a bunch of crap for this. Blight Kings. I'm going to say no. I know everyone's going to be like, they get 5 attacks, but you can only attack 1 rank in those stupid things.
That's 25 attacks though on 3s and 3s. Even for an elite squad of 5 attacks each is a horde clear. They are a horde clear. In terms of just volume of dice, Blight Kings are great. Blight Lords, not so much, but they
I'm going to check it, but for point efficiency, they suck. I cannot stand it.
Agreed.
Legion's abilities.
The Cycle of Corruption can't be denied, but it's
super random and unreliable.
It's pretty unreliable. Unreliable.
Disease rolls also not reliable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one.
It's not.
Ask
me how I know. I didn't kill any of your trees today.
We are also running with a lot of Plague Bearers and 3 Guos. If you're running the shooty guys, what are those guys called? For disease rolls, that can do it off the shooting attacks.
You're talking about
Rotmire Creed?
Oh,
no, Rotmire Creed. And Plague Drones. Right?
Yeah.
Those guys can get a lot of shooting attacks.
Allegiance abilities. This is past.
That's true. For disease. Yeah, it's on a 4-up.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get it on a 3-up, but no one ever takes that except for me, apparently. Rotmire Creed, yeah. Erica, I don't know if you could handle Tzeentch. That hero phase though.
It's Tzeentch was my first faction. And I had to learn really quickly how to play fast. That's why whenever I'm playing with someone, I play a little fast because I don't want to bore you in my hero phase. I'm like, all
Five-up
right, we get this,
board
this, this.
is
this. Oh.
more reliable than others, but it's not. It's not reliable though. I don't consider it reliable. 5-up board is great. Don't get me wrong. I
Five
mean,
up ward, army wide 5-up ward is definitely the problem right now is that there's a lot more ignore wards in the game, or there's so much they just output so much damage because of Soulblight Gravelords. Soulblight Gravelords kind of did what they did better, where it's like 40 zombies, right? All with a 5-up ward. So everyone built their list to deal with 40 zombies at a 5-up ward, right? I mean, that's how you see a success with Big Wa and Khorne, things like that.
Twice as reliable at any other. I agree until you play an army where they just turn off wards, which is more and more apparent. I don't know, man. I just don't know if I consider that reliable.
However, 5-up ward, oh man, it is one of those things that can technically be denied through things like Sigvald, through things like Legion of Blood, but you're not seeing a lot of ward ignore right now. That's not what's taking GTs.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit more on the safer side right now.
I would say, okay, sure. I'll give you, I could give you the 5-up ward as reliable, but the rest of their allegiance abilities blow. So in that,
I agree. They're unpredictable.
And for that reason, I'm passing them. That's
Fair.
where I'm at. I'll give you the 5-up ward.
Corruption.
I'll give you the 5-up ward, but the rest of them are not great.
They also being able to deny heroic actions, I think, can be huge.
Yeah, if you get it.
If you get it, it's true. It's super random. It is pretty random, but you are getting something.
Mechanics that can't be denied. I mean, disease.
That's going to be.
But that's also
disease.
Legion's abilities. But
yeah. Summoning, Legion's ability, things like. Let's see.
Summoning, yeah.
Trying to see
you can
with
deny that though. You can easily deny that.
Yeah. Maggotkin of Nurgle. What was the guy?
I don't know other mechanics that can't be. Pile in.
Yeah, stopping pile-ins is Sloppity Biopiper. That's the main
really
thing,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to see where the. They also have access to deep strikes. They can be relatively fast. Their pre-game moves as well with the Blight Lords. Those guys can be very powerful, right? We've seen plenty of 5-0s with Blight Lords.
I'll give it a check. I'm with you.
Let's see.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. Yep.
That's pretty much how Nurgle has to get by.
Yep. 100%. 3d6 charge or 3d6 cast. That is a
nope.
No. That's a big no.
They do not have that.
Ability to reroll even though much of it, no reroll. No, there's no.
No, they don't have really rerolls.
Yeah, they don't have any rerolls. I mean, Frostfire. If I'm missing any of these, let me know. But I think I'm right.
Yeah.
But easy battle tactics. Oh, these are not good.
They do not have great battle.
Even the new one, sure, I'll give the new one a pass, but for the most part, they're not great.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nurgle players. Nurgle's just not very reliable right now.
Yep, it's pretty much Blight Lords, right?
It's spam. I mean, that's what you're running, is a bunch of spam stuff.
Yeah. 60 Plague Bearer meta. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Oh my god, these Plague Bearers are garbage. I know they're cheap, but they're garbage. All right, Skaven.
So, again, I've been taking a little bit more of a deep dive on these guys. They've got more mechanics than you think they can't be denied.
Reliably losing.
Exactly.
They're actually, believe it or not, they've actually jumped a little bit in the meta. They're not doing that bad. Maggotkin.
Yeah.
Well,
Blight Lords, they went down in price.
Yeah.
And Blight Kings.
Yeah, Blight Kings are real bad though. All right. Skaven.
So, the need to not roll to buffs. So this is going to be things like if you have, you've got your master clan, right? If you've got 3 master clans and one of your master clans rolls a 9-inch charge, your entire army gets to make a 9-inch charge. There's some great mechanics like that.
You still have to roll.
You still have to roll. Fair.
It's not like a war
the other
changer buff.
The other thing is going to be Warpstone tokens. You have D3+3 tokens. You get a 3 immediately, or get 4 immediately.
Sure.
You can add 1 to damage to missile weapons. Doesn't sound too crazy until you add that to 6 Storm Fiends.
But that's fulfilling. What else can we give that don't need to roll for buffs? I feel like Skaven's got a ton of them, but I just can't think of it.
So Warpstone tokens. We've got the bonus to.
Oh my god, the Rat Ogres.
The Rat Ogres, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Master Molder Rat Ogres, right?
It's just a check off of that, right?
Yep.
Like, there's so many buffs to get off of that.
You can actually give quite a few buffs with that.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, I'm going to say this is a buff, but also the pass off for the Storm Vermin going up to a 2-up.
Yep.
And we'll also get to mechanics that, I think that there's definitely some overlap.
I mean, amount of dice is a check.
For sure. It's a lot of dice.
One of the reasons why you play Skaven is just for that.
They're not as much of a horde as they should be, in my opinion.
I agree. I will agree with you on that.
The Vermintide is not very strong right now, man.
Allegiance abilities. Now this is wide. This goes real wide because there's not.
Yeah.
Because you only it's really going to depend. This is a check pass, just 100%. We can't do it because some of them are going to be good and some of them are going to be bad. It's the way the book is written, unfortunately.
Yep.
And that's just the way the cookie crumbles on that one. Mechanics that can't be denied.
So that's going to be
all the Clan Scryer stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you kill yourself, but you can't deny it.
Exactly. Exactly. Warp lightning cannons. I mean, yeah. A lot of their overcharge shots. The other thing is going to be like their bodyguard abilities. The retreat and scurry can't be denied, right?
Yep.
Unless you have something that says like no retreat, which is pretty rare in the game. There's not a whole lot of like no retreating from this unit. That leans more 40k. But yeah, so scurry away, things like that, right? If they don't have a mount.
Yep. I would say that's a check. Mechanics that can be. I would say check.
Yeah.
Spamming certain abilities.
You get gnaw holes, right? Which gives you +1 to cast.
Yeah.
And +1 to chanting, right? You get those for free, and you can't teleport from them. You get screened off usually, but you can still teleport to them.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. Yes, Rat Ogres. That's a check.
I mean, the entire book is lean into like
Plague Monks, Plague Sensor Bearers, you name it.
Sensor Bearers. Oh, I want to get some of those guys.
Adding dice to abilities. So 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast?
3d6 cast. So, yes, you do add plenty of dice to abilities. Doom Wheels, 46 move.
Oh, yeah.
You can. I mean, you get you get 2d6 shots, but if they're doubles, you die. The chain, gosh, what are they called? The little machine gun Skaven guys. Try to remember what they're called.
Rattling guns?
Rattling. Yeah, the rattling guns. 46 shots, and you can make that 2 damage.
Okay, so rerolls.
Yes, we actually have quite a few rerolls. There is literally Master of Magic in this book.
How are we? Okay, how is this possible?
We literally have Master. We literally, yeah.
What's the okay? Battle tactics and grand strategies. I think those are bad, right?
Yeah, they're all bad.
Yeah,
they're all bad, in my opinion. I think you really have to lean Master Clan. That's the only one you'd want to do that grand strategy with. So I'm going to say bad.
Okay, so I mean 6, maybe 7. It's weird because they are. We're saying that they're the most reliable, but
so the mechanics that cannot be denied are the ones that are going to kill you.
That's true. That's a good point. That is a very good point.
You will not deny me blowing up.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
All right, slaves.
Ooh, I do love these guys.
Okay,
these are like better.
Need to not roll for buffs. That's gonna. Give me another one that's not Sorcerer Lord though.
Sure, command traits, just any of the marks. I mean, you get +1 attacks with Mark of Khorne. You can use a commander, run and charge.
Yep.
Nurgle, -1 rend. Banner, -1 coming.
It's a little bit of an allegiance ability, but I'll give it to you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some overlap there.
War Shrine, there's definitely stuff there.
Yeah.
Amount of dice rolled for attacks. I mean, yes. Chaos Chosen.
There's,
Chaos Warriors. You name it.
Chosen Warriors, Ogroids.
Knights.
I mean, Knights, Varangard fight twice,
Yeah.
gets to a pretty high. Ogroids on 5 attacks each. I
Gross.
mean, for 6 of them,
Yeah.
pretty nutty for their weight class, right?
Allegiance abilities.
I'm gonna say pass.
I'm trying to think of their allegiance abilities. I mean, other than the
So that's gonna be the. So we've gotta make sure there's a difference.
Eye of Gods is
There's
really unreliable.
Eye of the Gods
Yeah.
is extremely random. Chosen, right, could get nothing. They can get a 2-up spell ignore. They can get a 6-up ward, or they can get extra red, right? Super cool options.
The Tzeentch allegiance
Marcus
ability
Tzeentch
is
does jack diddly squat.
garbage.
You're
It's
never
literally
right.
trash.
It's throw it in the bin, right? Just ally in something else from Tzeentch if you want Tzeentch.
This is like a check pass because some of them are good. Like the Mark of Nurgle's great.
Mark of Nurgle's great. -1 to wound, super consistent. Slaanesh is good in my opinion. I do still think Slaanesh run and charge is super good.
Their 3d6 heroic action, super good. It's
yes.
not really an allegiance ability, I guess. No, I guess it is.
It is technically under the allegiance abilities, yes.
I'm going to say check pass on this.
I'm going to say check pass as well. But remember, there's always the option of you turn your guy into a chaos spawn.
Yeah. Mechanics that can't be denied.
Let's see.
I'm going to say
that's
check.
Gonna be... Yeah, I'm going to say check as well. Oracular Visions. We've got Ogroids getting their +1 attacks, right? They just can get it, right?
Oh, Varangard attacking twice.
Varangard fight twice, right?
This is check.
Chosen fight twice. Let's see. There's plenty of pass-off wounds.
I was gonna say Chaos Warriors because they get the +1 when they're in enemy territory.
Yeah. Or contesting an objective they do not control, and you do not control the objective until the end of that battle round.
Mechanics that can't be denied. You could technically deny that, but that's
cool. I'll control all of the objectives of the entire game.
I know. I get what you're saying. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics.
Absolutely, you can.
Chaos Warriors, Varangard. Yeah, this is a check.
Yeah,
this is a check. Unfortunately,
I wish it wasn't. It's all cav. Yeah.
3d6 charge. That's a check.
Yep. 3d6 charge. Yep.
Now you have to roll for it.
For the 3d6 charge, yes, you do have to roll for it.
Is it reliable? 3d6 cast is reliable. It doesn't matter.
3d6 cast is just heroic action. You're just spending that. A 3-up, and if you got mystical terrain, it's a 2-up. So I'm gonna say it's reliable, even if you can roll a lot of 1s on it. I will not deny that. You can absolutely roll, but for this category, it's just do we have access to 3d6, right?
Okay, so then we're good there.
Yeah.
Ability to reroll.
There is actually not too many rerolls in this list. Oh no. Okay, you can reroll Eye of the Gods with a Mark of Undivided. So you do get rerolls there. You can reroll. There's just some really fringe stuff that you get to reroll.
Does it make it reliable?
I would say if you've got Mark of Undivided, it makes it much more reliable that you don't blow your character up. Let's see.
No, I know, but we're not saying that's going to be a check on that though.
Rerolls. I just usually run Master of Magic with my hero, with my Sorcerer Lord, but I'm gonna say there's not as many rerolls in this list. No,
I can't think
not
of
a lot of rerolls.
I can't think of a lot on that. Battle tactics and grand strategies.
Grand strategies, no. Battle tactics, I'm gonna lean a little bit more towards pass, even though there are some pretty easy ones.
I was thinking the same thing. Okay, I mean that's I think that's probably what I would say for Sight of Darkness.
Yeah, these guys again are super popular with newer players. They're Unga Bunga. It's a good model range, right? I mean, they're still pretty tactical. They don't have to worry about shooting, just like at all, which is super nice.
All right, 8 to go. We're almost there. We're almost done.
Alrighty.
Flesh Eater Courts.
Reliable, absolutely.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to be pretty reliable. The need to
buffs you don't have to roll for.
What?
Yeah, you don't have to. Let's see, what buffs you don't have to roll for.
I think they get a lot, don't they?
Not traits, but
I think they get a lot, don't they? For
yep, so a lot of their spells. There are actually a lot of spells.
I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna actually say no. You do have to roll for quite a few of their buffs.
All these are rolls.
Now, just remember. Now, if this is a buff, I'm gonna say that this is a buff. Maybe not to direct units, but it's a buff to your army in general. Is you just get to summon stuff for free. It just happens.
I'm gonna say mechanics that can't be denied.
Okay, fair. That's under mechanics that can't be denied. Is summon.
Because
Yep.
I mean, and they definitely fulfill that for sure.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you can. The only way you can really make sure that doesn't happen is if you kill the heroes on your turn. But they're gonna make sure that that doesn't happen if they're
Exactly.
If they're
Exactly.
because that is everything they bank on is that summoning in first turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Need to not roll for. I'm gonna say pass. They need to roll for them. Lots of buffs, but you have to roll for them.
Yeah.
Amount
of dice. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yes, I mean that's a check.
For sure.
It's absolutely a check. All right, allegiance abilities.
They're pretty reliable. Feeding Frenzy, super reliable. Just having a unit fight twice, I think, is super good. It essentially just doubles that unit's output.
Yep. What else do they have? They've got, I think they got some healing they do or something.
Yep. You can do like you can do some teleports. Now there are things like Geminids to stop that, but you don't have to do it with just one unit.
Right.
It can be any unit, right?
Yeah.
Fight twice. That's why I think it's so reliable.
Spamming.
Oh my god. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, you're just gonna you're just gonna spam courtiers just to summon things, right?
Exactly. Or the Crypt Horrors, right? To do just like very good damage.
They don't have a huge book, so I mean.
Exactly. You kind of have to.
Yeah.
Not really their fault.
Charge, 3-6 cast.
I don't believe they have any of those. Do not believe they have any of those.
3-6 charge? I think they do. Rerolls. Yep, they got those.
They definitely have rerolls.
They are the reroll faction.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Reroll
I mean, this is just really a whole lot of commands, right? I mean, you've got Gristlegore fighting on death. You know, strike first if you charge, things like that.
Now, I don't know battle tactics and grand strats. That I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they actually got a couple of easy ones. I'll double check real quick. Grand strats. Let's see. Complete this grand strategy if there are 3 friendly flesh eater courts on units on the battlefield that were not in your starting army. Let's see. I don't think that's the one you take nowadays. I'm gonna say that's fairly unreliable.
Yeah.
Because they're so easy to kill a lot of your summons.
Yep.
Let's see. Kill a unit with missile attacks? No. Let's see. Are those still valid? There's a couple ones where you get additional victory points for it. I don't know if that's still valid.
They should be. See why they wouldn't.
The Royal Hunt. You reveal this battle tactic. Pick one enemy monster on the battlefield that has less than 5 wounds allocated to it. You complete this battle tactic if that enemy monster is slain during that turn. If that enemy monster is slain by an attack made by a friendly abhorrent, aka the Ghoul King or Terrorgeist, you score an additional.
Ooh,
I don't see that. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. I don't. I wish we had Justin here. He would tell us.
Right? Kill a monster with a Terrorgeist? That's kind of your hammer.
Yeah. I mean, okay, in general, I think it's a pass.
The main thing is that you have so much movement with these guys. Oh, man. Let's see, what's the one where you get, like, I think it's...
I'm going to go pass, and then people can roast in the comments.
Because remember, you have, like, a 16-inch move with these guys in Blister Skin.
I mean...
Alright, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Alright. Nighthaunt.
Yeah, ooh.
Alright, the need to not roll for buffs.
There's some War Scroll abilities, right? Right, you just add 3. +1 to wound, right, from the...
Yeah, that's good.
The other thing as well will be, like, it's more of a debuff, but the chariot, the big chariot, things have to die.
Black Coach?
Yeah, the Black Coach. Things have to die. You get a 4-up ward, and it just happens. And it's for any models that die. It doesn't have to be yours.
It actually has to be enemy models.
Does it have to be enemy models?
It does have to be enemy models.
Yeah,
Which
but
sucks,
it can't be
because, like, that would have been so much better if it was any.
Yeah. So you don't have to roll that. Your opponent has to roll it. Ah, there you go.
I'll give you a check on
Yeah.
it.
They're going to need, because they don't have a whole lot of checks.
Amount of dice roll, that's a check.
Yeah.
Herodins? That's a lot of dice. That's a lot of dice.
Yep.
Now that might be the only situation though.
Get rid. This is the army. I'm going to actually say pass on that, only unless you're running chain rasps. Because remember, you only fight in one rank. Blade guys fight in one rank.
Herodins only fight.
The other
one
gals
rank
fight in one rank. It's the only thing is the main Gribgas Reapers that only fight in 2 ranks. It's those, and they hit on 4s.
All right, pass. That sucks.
Yeah,
that really blows.
I'm gonna unless you're running chain rasps, they're actually not as many dice as you think.
Garbage too.
You can make them actually pretty good. You can make them pretty good, especially for how cheap they are now. But yeah.
Allegiance abilities.
I'm gonna have to say pass.
4 upwards, or 6 upward,
Well,
and then they have 4 up save, but it's not reliable. I mean, I don't.
Ethereal. I mean, not getting affected by rend is nice.
Is it reliable?
So they've got ethereal, they've got a ward.
No, it's not reliable. Even having a 4 up save is not reliable.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's just not. It's not reliable. It's a 50-50. It's not reliable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. When you start,
and Allegiance is entirely charge roll, which is also not reliable.
So I'm agreeing with you on the charge roll. The main thing is that over the course of the game, if you're on 4s, you can generally see how things are going to spread out.
Yeah,
with
but
your
it's not
4 up
reliable.
saves.
That doesn't make it reliable.
You're going to fail about 50 of them, and you're going to get about 50 of them.
But that's not reliable. 50% is not reliable. It's not.
It's predictable. I'm going to say it's predictable.
Is a 2 up more reliable than a 4 up?
But how much rend is going into that 2 up?
Oh my god.
Rend 3?
Oh my god. We're going with pass. This is going to be a pass.
Fair.
I get what you guys are saying. Like, against... Yeah, I just don't think there's enough rend to make this a reliable... Even if I were to give you the 4 up save, the ethereal, the rest of their stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
Mechanics that can't be denied.
I mean, charges, though, you can't really do that.
It's only on your turn, though. They completely become useless on the next person's turn.
It is technically possible to deny the Black Coach. It's going to be very hard to, but it's technically possible.
Mechanics,
there's not a whole lot of mechanics that you can't deny.
I mean, they've got a lot of teleports.
Teleport, yeah, you can deep strike.
Like Hex Rays.
And technically, their charge debuff. Once they charge, you can't deny that charge.
That's true. That's true.
I'll give them the buff.
I actually will give them a check on that. I think they're okay with mechanics that can't be denied. I think they're okay with that.
Yeah. You can't deny their ethereal. They will save on a 4.
Yeah, charge, retreat, recursion. You're
retreat and charge. That's the other big one. Is retreat and charge, right?
Yeah, it's real good. It's real good.
Unless you're running host duplicitous.
Or
just can't retreat.
Or the stupid battle plan that doesn't allow you to retreat because then you just don't gain any objectives. Stupid.
Yeah.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. Hex race. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Adding dice. 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. I want to say they have these, but Frostfire.
So the thing that
you seem like you know these guys, so you tell me.
The only thing that they have is an auto cast spell. For endless spells. That's it.
I wouldn't imagine they have a 3d6 charge. That seems really good.
They don't have a 3d6 charge.
Okay. So I'm going to say pass.
Yeah, they do not have access to a 3d6 charge. Unfortunate.
Yeah, but remember, this is all about adding dice to abilities, and I don't think they do that.
Yeah, they don't have any of that.
Rerolls.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, no, I don't really have any rerolls.
Jesus Christ, they don't have any rerolls either. Ugh.
No
Poor
rerolls casting, no rerolls charging.
Poor souls.
Yep,
Battle Tactics and
literally.
Grand Strats. I think they're not good either, right?
Nope, they're not good.
Oh my god! Alright, these guys are not. Poor Nighthaunt. You
Yeah.
poor guys. I'm
So
so sad.
what we have to keep in mind is there's some context for this army, right? By these standards, yes, there's some problems with them, but just remember on your 4-up ethereal save, you also have your bodyguard save, which is like at a 2-up, right?
Sure.
From the spirit host that you can then bring back.
Sure.
That is one of the few strategies that is actually very big for them.
The spirit was spirit
hosts.
Spirit hosts, yeah, that does make them reliable, but at the end of the day,
Agreed.
they're just not reliable.
They're not reliable in my opinion. They are so you live and die by the 4-up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. Ossiarch Bonereapers.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. The need to not roll for buffs. That's a check.
Check.
Oh my god, that's
check mark.
Bad. Amount of dice rolled for attacks. That's check.
More tech guard. More tech guard.
Yeah. Are they 2 attacks each on 28s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
rough.
If you're running more tech, yeah. Even their elite units have a crap ton of attacks.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you're not wrong. Allegiance abilities.
Check. I mean, they're all
100% check.
You have all commands.
You have like every command that you want at your disposal.
Yep. The same thing with sub-faction abilities, right? -1 to wound for Hecatos.
Definitely, I mean...
Counter-charging with Mortis Praetorians.
+3 to movement.
Yeah.
And you can do this in multiple... Like, that's definitely reliable. All these are reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mechanics that can't be denied.
Healing. I mean, that's more sub-faction, but the other thing would be healing, would be...
Healing, you have some counter charges you can do.
Gothazar.
What about
the Gothazar can heal back stuff.
Sure. You have Deep Strike. You've got...
They do have the Deep Strike, the Archai. Let's see. God. One thing I want to say is the 2-up spell
ignore. The only thing that
ignore.
really prevents these guys from functioning is...
Under Allegiance abilities, also 2-up spell ignore, because fuck you. Fuck you and your Tzeentch.
I mean, that's pretty reliable. It's pretty reliable.
Pretty reliable.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's exactly what's going with the Frostfires. The only way to really hinder these guys is to reduce their command point. Like, get rid of having them use command points. That's really the...
Yep. You need gem mids against these guys. They've also got Fight Twice, right? Immortus Guard.
Yeah.
Their main thing, because it's all commands...
Jesus, spamming, yep.
Is roar. That's their biggest downfall, is roar. And going against monsters. So, actually, I'm going to have to say mechanics that can't be denied. There's been so many times where I win a game against OBR because I roared something.
Okay, but in general...
Yeah.
Their mechanics are crazy good.
It's true.
Like, healing?
It's true.
Get out of here.
Yeah. You can't deny the healing.
3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. They definitely have 3d6 charge.
Yeah. I'm trying to see when the... Because that was the old guys.
No.
Do they still have 3d6 charge?
Might be right.
Pretty sure that was the old ones. Now they have running charge for a command. For the hunter-killer guys.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Morghast. It's not... They have a 5-up ward is what it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Morghast Archai is... Yeah, that's the 5-up ward. They do have Fight First on the 8-up charge.
Yeah, I mean...
Morghast Harbingers.
But I don't think they have a 3d6 charge or 3d6 cast. I don't think they're adding dice to anything.
Yeah, the other thing... remember, they can't issue or receive commands whenever they're within 3 of Morghasts.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm going to actually say no. They don't have any of those. They don't have any 3d6 casting or charging.
Rerolls?
They're pretty limited on the rerolls. They are no longer the reroll crazy guys like they used to be.
Grand Strat, Battle Tactics.
Let's see. Trample the Defiant, I'm going to say, is pretty reliable. But over the rest of them, I'm actually going to say are not. 3 or more from the Ozir in the head. Models return to them. No. I might actually say no. Other than there's one battle tactic and one grand strategy that I would say are pretty good.
Okay.
Edge of Obliteration is okay.
Right? But look back in general.
Yeah.
Are they
I'm gonna
reliable?
gonna say no.
I'm gonna
I'm
say
gonna say
no
no.
too. I'm gonna say no too. I would say 50-50. That's not reliable. I'm guessing
Yeah.
that's Erica who's typing House of Hobbies. That's because it's not me. Um, yeah. So yeah, definitely we're going. They're actually not that. They're just super elite. I mean, that's where they are, and
Yeah.
they're the things that they do reliable are really really reliable, like really good.
I will note. They also have the autocast, right? So that does make their spell casting very reliable because it can't be unmount.
Yeah. Sure.
So that does make which I don't know if we should have a section for that or not, right? I mean that's more adding dice to the abilities or autocasting.
Wait, say it again.
That
For
is
what?
so or for OBR, right? They have autocasting. You don't really need 3d6 casting when you can autocast something, right? So
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's mechanics that can't be denied.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's mechanics that can't be denied. I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Why is this? Let's see here. Let me move this down a little bit. All right. We got
Alright.
Soulblight next.
Soulblight.
You should be very familiar with this. We both should, actually.
Yep. Lived and breathed these guys. Oh my lordy.
All right. Need to not roll buffs. This is. I mean, Corpse Cart.
Yeah. Corpse Cart, Vampire Lord,
yep,
White
Vampire
King.
Lord, yep. Exactly what I was going
Check.
with. Yep, this is a check.
Yep.
Amount of dice rolled?
Yep, check. Depending on the faction, right? You know, Blood Knights are still pretty high dice.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
It's not
But
good.
most of the
It's not good
zombies.
I mean, the zombies are not good attacks, but.
Again, you can remember you can get them to +3 attacks
Well,
each.
and Corpse Cart, you can do some more rolls, right?
And Hoarfrost, getting them hitting on twos.
Okay,
It's so good.
You're crazy. The Hoarfrost on zombies is
So
terrible.
good.
What are you talking about?
I never put it on the rend unless it's rend 3. Even then.
Allegiance abilities. These are. Okay. Oh boy.
Healing. You get healing,
Yeah.
right? You get grave sights, and you
Their
get deep striking.
Their grave starts are not reliable though.
For deep striking?
For deep striking, sure, but to get units back.
4 up your turn, or 4 up their turn, 3 up your turn, and you're rolling it in both phases. So I'm gonna say no.
It's not reliable.
In my opinion, and we'll get to the Gitz in the same way that I'm gonna say are unreliable. Because while it's nice to get them back, now I will note, it is just most other armies, you don't get your models back. You can bring these guys back at half strength. It's a less good version of summoning. But the fact that you can deep strike and get a couple other things is what tips it over the edge for me. Yes, it's unreliable, but you can deep strike, and a lot of your battle tactics are off those grave sites. And your bonuses for healing.
The only thing that I think is reliable about their allegiance is their healing. Which is
it's
really
the
good.
healing, and it's
But I don't think. I'm trying to think of what else they have in their allegiance ability that's reliable.
You just get 4 grave sites. That's your terrain. Yep. I guess terrain should also be noted as something reliable, right?
Yeah, sorta. I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong. Soulblight is clearly good, but I don't know if their allegiance ability is quote unquote reliable. I'm gonna.
We can do a check pass on that. Say very neutral on it.
Because I think
the strength is really in the subfaction.
I agree. I think there's parts of it that I think are reliable, but there's parts of it that I think that are definitely not reliable.
Yeah.
Okay. Mechanics that can't be denied.
Yep.
Healing.
Yep.
Although you could remove heroes.
Someone also noted they can't be smashed to rubble, unlike a lot of other things, right? That is also pretty reliable for your deep striking.
Yes.
That's pretty,
you can still zone them out. I can't tell you how many times I've zoned out Soulblight.
Yep. It's true. It's true.
Like, you can't get rid of the +1.
The other thing about the grave sites that makes them reliable is you put one in your back line, right, for the enemy. Now they have to always remember that you could always roll that 3 up and bring 10 Graveguard back to life in their backline.
That's not
you know,
reliable.
but they have to consider it because if your opponent does, it's all about the psychology. You got to get in their head.
Gosh. All right. So mechanics. What do we do for mechanics that can't be denied? Does Soulblight have a ton of these?
It's
+1 on the
really
corpse
heroic
card.
action.
What?
I'm gonna say yes because heroic actions.
Yeah,
All the main 3 have heroic actions that just can't be denied. So Legion of Night is your teleport, right?
Like turning off wards, pretty good.
Turning off wards.
Summoning 10 dogs.
Summoning 10 dogs. It just happens.
Stupid. So stupid.
I add D3 dogs to a unit as well. You know.
It just happens. Thought that was a great heroic action is beyond me. Spamming,
so good.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. There's no one that does it better.
Yep.
Adding dice, 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast.
They do not have 3d6 cast. They have +2 to cast at +3 to cast at best.
So
but they don't have.
I guess I should get away from 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast. It's adding dice to abilities.
Yeah, I would say modifiers. Adding modifiers, in my opinion.
Okay.
Is do they have good modifiers to their abilities, such as 3d6 cast, auto cast, auto
That's
buys.
probably better, but we're doing this now. We've already gone through a bunch of them. But
yeah.
You're probably right. We should probably do modifiers instead. But
that's okay.
Are they adding any dice to abilities? I don't think so.
No. No.
I can't think of anything. The ability to reroll.
Not a whole lot of rerolls.
Yeah, nothing. I can't.
Yep, no rerolls.
Grand
crazy like that.
Battle tactics.
Check that off.
Yeah, I think they were pretty easy.
I will constantly give crap about.
But
I will give Belladama crap about failing the hunger till the end of the earth, but a Vampire Lord or Manfred. Because remember, the real main thing that makes that reliable is it's 2 vampires or your general, and you're usually bringing a War Master.
Healing
even if you're bringing even if you're bringing Kallistai, you've still got a War Master in Kallistai or Kalesti.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think it's Castelli, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. That's it for death. We go into the last faction.
Ugh.
If Erica's still there, you're gonna have a fun one to edit.
Oh yeah.
All right, Gloomspite Gitz. The Gitz.
Yeah. Yeah.
The need to not roll for buffs. This is a
Gobapalooza.
Yep.
Gobapalooza is the main thing. There's a couple of them that you don't have to roll for.
I mean, geez, Trug.
You technically do have to roll for that.
You do have to roll for them.
You get an ability regardless. If you're going to get a buff regardless, but what buff you get is dependent on your roll.
Right.
I'm going to say you still don't have to roll for the buff, because you can also do a maintain of the buff as well. I'm going to go check. I'm going to go check with that. Yeah, also the Squig Master guy.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. The Trog boss has the all-out attack +1 to attacks thing. Yeah,
yep.
This is check.
Yep. Check for the next one for sure. Squig herd. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. I mean.
Yep. Check.
That's definitely a check, and it's good stuff too.
Yep.
Allegiance. Oh yeah, it's Quick Boss. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Allegiance abilities.
And allegiance abilities. The moon is an absolute great one. Check for sure.
Yep.
You get run and charge under the light of the bad moon.
Yes. Oof,
you get run and charge. You get +1 save. Remember, you're running Scragrot in all of these.
Hold on. Allegiance abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Frostfire. Yeah, I'm a little bit more on pass than I am on check on this, because that moon's not reliable. It's 100% not reliable.
Remember, you've got Scragrot. If you're not...
Yeah, but you're banking on a War Scroll in your army the entire time. Sorry, that's not reliable.
That's fair.
That's terrible.
That's fair.
That's awful.
That's fair. But you get, if you are under a...
I get it. There are easy ways to get the Moonlight.
You can manipulate it, but I will say it is not as reliable.
Does that make the Allegiance ability reliable?
Man.
I don't know.
In all of my games against Gitz, the moon has pretty much always been where the opponent wanted it to be because of Scragrot. And you can get that extra turn where it's just there. But I'm going to overall say it's unreliable. I'm gonna say it's unreliable.
For
I would
3
say it's
rounds,
unreliable.
yes. I
The
mean,
bonuses you get from the main thing is that the bonuses you get from being under the light of the bad moon are easy to get outside of the main moon square, right?
sure.
But yeah, because you get it from the War Shrine, or get it from the Loon
let's
Shrine, you get
let's
it from
do
Stragrot.
let's do check pass.
Yeah, but the moon itself is pretty unreliable.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
As
check
it should
pass.
be. It's Gitz. Come on.
I mean, you're not right. You're
Should
not
be
wrong.
unreliable.
And the return technically is not from the allegiance ability, but I get what you're saying.
Yes. No. You get under the light of the bad moon with the.
No,
with the
the return models.
Yes.
You with King Gitz, you do get the reroll from it, so
it's not reliable.
It's, not
it's
reliable.
The same as Soulblight.
I'm sorry, I've rerolled that thing multiple times and failed both times.
It's very nice when it happens, but you can't guarantee it. Yeah. You should keep it in mind while playing, but you shouldn't be banking on it.
Yes, return is shrine. That's exactly right. Yeah. Now King Gitz, you get to reroll that, but I still don't think it's reliable.
But it's a 4-up, and I do not like 4s. I will take a 3-up over a 4-up rerolling every day.
Mechanics that can't be denied. That's checked.
Yeah.
Squig boss. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing for not rolling the boss, right? You can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Them dying and then killing something.
Yeah.
You can't deny that unless you don't want to attack them. Spamming certain abilities or mechanics.
Yeah.
No, that's a check.
Yep. Squig herd. A lot of spamming. One war scrolls. Yep. Little.
Now, granted, that's kind of their book, right? Like.
They're a pretty wide book. Again, if you're going into spiders, you have to spam spiders, and there has been success with spiders.
Get out of here! Show me the
there
list.
Has
show
success.
Me the list.
I will show you the list.
3d6 charge, 3d6 cast.
No. They've got modifiers like run and charge, but I'm gonna say no. No.
Yeah, I don't think
they don't have. They don't even really have a lot of modifiers.
Yeah.
Ooh, what you thinking?
Yeah,
what you cooking?
I can't think of any rerolls. The only one I can think of is King Gitz.
King Gitz, yeah.
But I can't think of anything else.
So you could reroll that, but it's not enough to consider it reliable, in my opinion.
You can run, charge, reroll with Squig. Sure, yeah.
Yes, you can reroll with a spell. You can reroll the charge roll with a spell. That's fair.
That's not reliable, though. I'm not considering that reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Battle tactic for strats. Oh boy, I should know this, but I don't. I'm going to look them up.
They're okay. A lot of them rely on being under the moon, and because you've got Skagrot, generally you can control that. Like Moonlight Raid, things like that. Protect the Loon Shrine, in my opinion, is not a reliable one.
No, it's not reliable. Spider Fang getting spider venom and to kill things, not at least 8 mortal wounds. Get out of here. The most No, I'm saying this is pass. This is just pass, guys.
Just for that, I took that personally.
Oh my god, so bad.
Gosh.
Next one is ogres.
Ogres, big chunky boys. I love ogres.
Chunky boys. Monster trucks.
That's such a deep book. I think this is pretty.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Coalesced and Starborn.
You've got a lot of good shooting. You've got a lot of good melee infantry, right? Heavy infantry who can fight twice. But yeah, we'll get some more of that.
Need to not roll for buffs. I mean, vultures.
Not as many of these. No, the maw pot. You get a heal.
Maw pot,
right?
vultures.
Vultures. Yep.
What else?
That could also be mechanics that can't be denied.
I don't know much on the foot side of it. I know monster trucks a little bit, but I don't know much on the foot side.
There's nothing like Soulblight where you give exploding 6s or anything like that from the foot heroes. You can stop battle shock by making them suffer a mortal wound or something like that, and they just don't take battle shock, which is nice.
Oh, thank you, Frostfire, thank you. Okay, so then, do we want to say yes?
I'm gonna say let's see.
We gave 2 examples. I don't know if there's.
Yeah. They need to not roll for buffs. I'm gonna say no. They don't really have buffs. You have to. The buffs you get, you kind of have to roll for.
Okay. Attacks.
Let's see.
This is why Monster Trucks is a no.
Monster Trucks is a no.
But the other
but
ones.
Ogre Glutton.
Yes. This is a check pass. Just check pass. Just the way it is.
Yep.
Actually, no, I can't say that. It's got to be a check.
I'm gonna say check.
I'm gonna say check because I can't do all of the book that way, right? We haven't been doing that for the
Yeah.
rest of them. There's always like one scroll that's always like kind of like that. Legion's abilities.
You do mortal wounds on the charge, and you count as more models on the objective. There's nothing more reliable than counting as more on the objective.
Yep.
Yeah, all your trucks or your monster trucks count as 10 instead of 5.
Yeah,
Super reliable. That doesn't bracket.
Yep. No, you're good.
You also do mortal wounds.
Yep.
Which in Meat Fist is going to get real scary. Ooh.
Mechanics that can't be denied. Vultures.
Vultures. Yep. The Battle Shock thing with the Ogre Tyrant.
If you get a charge, you can't deny the mortal wounds on it.
Yep. Yeah, you have to do ward save, right? Things like that. Yeah.
I guess it could be denied technically with ward saves. You're right.
Remember, that's army-wide charge buff. Something during the game is going to charge, and you're going to do mortal wounds.
Yeah. Do we say that they're mechanics that can't be denied?
I'm going to say that they're not reliable, that they can't be denied.
So not reliable, though.
I'm going to say that they're not as reliable. Okay. But you're going to roll a lot of dice with looking for mortals.
I played this against George, and I did not roll well. And in that circumstance, it's a pass for me.
So I played their old book a lot. I've played a little bit of their new book, and I play against their new book a lot, right? And what I used to do was Kragnos and two Frostlords and Stonepoint. You can still do that, not as good, but you can still run that Kragnos list. But yeah.
I'm saying pass.
Okay, I'll say pass. 4-ups can be, you're going to be on 5-ups for a lot of stuff. Roll a number of dice equal to the charge roll. But yeah.
I mean, if you want to get technical, you could redeploy 6 out and then not make the charge.
Yeah, redeploy is always an option. They're kind of in that Nighthaunt problem where they're charging.
Yep, they do all of their damage on the charging,
and they don't have access to running charge as well.
Right.
That makes it a problem. That's where I think Kragnos is really, really important.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics, it's a yes.
Yeah.
Adding dice to abilities.
Kragnos, I mean, that has to be said. Kragnos giving that 3d6 charge now that we're in destruction.
I'll say yes.
We can do a check pass on that because he's technically not in the book.
I know,
but it stacks very, very well with ogres.
All right, check pass.
Oh, also 3d6 move after they charge with the monstrous rampage.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you just fly.
Yeah, we're gonna go check then.
Yeah.
Rerolls.
There is not a lot of rerolls, no. Bonuses to cast from the Maw, but not very many rerolls.
And then battle tactics and grand strategies are not, from what I remember, were not good.
There's a couple good battle tactics, but grand strats. No. They have the let's see. They have the old one of the old ones. Let me double check what it was. It's like more enemy units in your deployment or in my deployment zone. Or no. Well, let me double check what it is. It's basically the old take what's theirs. Let's see. Yeah, ready to plunder. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy. If there are more friendly units than enemy units, no, if there are more friendly units wholly within the enemy territory. So you just gotta have than enemy units. So with how fast your ogres are and how smashy they are, it's pretty good. It is pretty reliable. With how fast you are, you can get over there.
One though, like, are we saying in general that these battle tactics and grand strategies are reliable? I don't think so.
Every army has GW has followed a pretty standard formula for their grand strategy, which is complete 4 from the book.
Yeah.
2 are useless. 1 is good.
Sure. So no. So pass.
That's fair. That's been that is like every GW book.
I know. I don't know why they do that too, because some of them. They're
you gotta keep
faction based or sub faction.
You gotta keep in mind what are like the auto include grand strategies. Are you looking for like every grand strategy is good, or like this is the one you take every time? Because ready for plunder, you take every time.
Battle tactics. Their battle tactics aren't good.
Oh, battle tactics. Let's see. Complete this by the start. If every ogre on the battle,
one's easy.
Yeah, eat your fill. That one's easy. Have every ogre on every ogre unit eating.
Yep.
Let's see. If every ogre unit is hungry, that's easy because you can retreat. So that's 2 battle tactics right there. You complete this battle tactic at the end of the turn if 10 or more mortal wounds were caused by trampling charge. That is easy. If you're running Beast Claw Raiders, you can do 10 mortal wounds.
Yeah, okay.
You can do 10 mortal wounds.
Okay.
I see it done every single game against me with Jeremy.
I'll
What's the other things? Pick an enemy hero or monster. That one's situational. 4 or more monstrous rampages.
Situational.
You have to carry it out.
Oh yeah, that's not.
Yeah, so you have to successfully roll like a 3 up on it. Yeah. No.
So are we saying in general they're a check?
I'm gonna say 3 of their battle tactics you can complete in a game very easily, and then 1 is situational. That's more than because they have 6 in total. I'm gonna say check. Okay. It's pretty hard to deny a lot of those.
All right, then we get to like the widest of the wide.
Oh boy, so are we just gonna talk about Big Wa, Iron Jaws?
Let's see if we can come to a consensus.
Yeah, fair.
And see if that
the need to not roll for buffs. That's universal.
Jed's connection unreliable. That's pretty funny.
Exactly.
Hashtag editing. We're almost done. We got 2 slides left.
Yeah, I think it's 2 left. Yeah.
All right. So the need to not roll for buffs.
I think that's pretty universal, except for yeah.
War Chant. If let's see, can I do one for
Bone Splitters? I don't think have any of those, but let's just ignore Bone Splitters like GW ignores Bone Splitters. You don't know anything about them. I don't know anything about them. We know
I actually am not. I'm not too like I know a little bit about them. I probably
we
can
only
figure.
know about Funny Dance Man. That Funny Dance Man is the only one that matters.
Yeah, he's so good though.
And then maybe Big Stabbers.
Yeah, Big Stabbers. Yeah. Amount of dice rolled for attacks. That's a check.
That's a check.
I mean, just Hobgrots and.
Yep.
Geez, even brutes can do it.
Yep.
Allegiance abilities. Okay, now remember we're thinking reliability here. Big
Cool
Waz,
Boys for
Big Waz
now.
No.
Iron Jaws is a yes. You also get because you get that command ability, right?
Iron Jaws?
You just move in the hero face.
Maybe.
Now you can be within 12.
Unless they get within 12 on purpose. You don't know how many times that has saved me a charge.
That's true. You can do that. You can also deploy very far and teleport for that to not be a problem. Remember, you've got Fast Stun. You can use Fast Stun before you use the move. And even then, you're getting an out of phase charge. That's still something more that you would have had otherwise.
Sure.
Less reliable, but no.
Like
this is
smashing
also
and bashing, not reliable.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not reliable. Unless it's a Maw Crusher.
For Orruk Warclans, not reliable.
Poor Cruel Boys. Even on 5-ups, yeah.
I don't know, man. I think their allegiance abilities are not very reliable. Sure, I might give you Mighty Destroyers, that whole thing, but
yeah,
like what else are they bringing? Big Waz not. You can't justify the points. Not for D6. Like there's other ways you can get them, yes, but
yeah. The main thing is that you can't deny them. That even though it's a D6, it's not deniable, which is different from reliability.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say pass.
Okay.
I didn't think I was gonna initially say that, but thinking about it, I don't think they're reliable. Mechanics that can't be denied. Now that's a check.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, you've got Swamp Kala, who just gives you.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of things. Like the fog stuff for Cruel Boys. Can't.
Laser Eyes. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Funny Dance Man.
Jesus Christ. Spamming certain abilities. Yep. Or mechanics.
Yep. I mean,
check.
18 bows. Anybody?
Yeah, for real. Or Big Stabbers. We just talked about them.
Big Stabbers. Exactly.
Pigs.
Exactly.
Adding dice 3d6 charge, 3d6 cast.
Yeah, you do get 3d6 charge. With Iron Jaw specifically and Big Wah.
You get 3d6 unbind with Gobsprak.
Yes, you do.
Does add dice.
You do get that.
Ability to reroll.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think there's any innate rerolls in
I don't
those
think
books.
there's any.
No.
I can't think of anything. Yeah, I don't think they do. Battle tactics and grand strategies. Okay, this is gonna.
Yeah.
This is
Now
this is gonna be a
because
check
of
pass. This is gonna
yeah.
be just a check pass because Big Wah, they're real good. Battle tactics. We're almost done. Battle tactics, grand strats. I think that's a check pass.
Yep.
Right. Just
Yeah.
It just depends
Yeah.
on the one. If you're in Big Wah, some of them are gonna be great. If you're in
Yep.
Iron Jaws, are gonna be different. So that's check pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't think did Bone Splitters get any good battle tactics?
I don't know because
I don't think they
Games
did.
Workshop doesn't even look at them.
They're giving you time to grieve now. That's what they're doing. They're giving you time to grieve as they, they go behind the barn, right? And he's off to a new farm. Bone Splitters are going to be off to a new farm.
For real. What are you doing reliable? Why are you doing star reliable? Right. I don't know. All right. Last one. We know where this is going. Sons of Behemat. All right. Oh boy, this will be real interesting. How we do this. All right.
Yep.
So, need to not roll for buffs.
Yep, because there's no buffs to get. Oh, actually, no man crushers. A lot of those you don't have to roll for. If you want to buff man crushers, you can absolutely buff them, and there's not a whole lot of rolling.
Yeah. Is there anything else though? Allegiance abilities is some of those buffs they get, but that's allegiance.
Yeah. Yeah. There's really no roll buffs.
Yeah.
No. We'll get to this mechanics that cannot be denied as well, but invocations, right? Or not invocations, but prayers can't be denied. They just happen. Can't do anything about them. They're on a 3-up. Put him next to Mystical. He's on a 2-up.
Yeah, but you need to roll for it.
You do need to roll for it.
So I'm going to say pass.
That's fair.
Mechanics that can't be denied, sure, but for buffs that don't need.
Yeah,
to be
but
rolled,
yeah.
Amount of dice, pass.
Yeah.
It's all like huge.
Pretty elite.
Yeah. They're super elite, super swingy.
Yep.
Allegiance abilities.
I'm gonna say they're pretty reliable. Man crushers are pretty reliable. You can use commands on them. You can have them chucking dice. You can have them like 6 damage a pop. There's a lot of things you can do with them as well. With
get the 35 on an objective. Reliable.
That's pretty reliable. Just models on the objective. You're having cracking ears.
I'll give it to you. I don't like it.
It's mostly having models on the objective that I would say is the most reliable part about that.
Mechanics that can't be denied. Other than prayers, is there anything else?
Oh, kicking objectives. Can't deny it. It just happens.
All right, I gotta give you on that. Like, there's
you just kick an objective. You can also the new thing is picking up terrain.
Stupid.
You just pick up. You have one piece of problem terrain on the board.
Until they FAQ it, just teleporting everywhere.
Exactly.
Spamming certain abilities or mechanics. I mean, how do you? This is like an NA. This is like.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you could run one Kraken Eater and all Man Crusher Gargants. One War Stomper and all Man Crusher Gargants.
I'm gonna so check.
You technically could 3 Gatebreakers and Gobblapalooza.
Sure, I'm gonna check. I guess adding dice to abilities.
Yes, you do get 3d6 charges in this book.
Do you?
You do get 3d6 charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Any rerolls?
You can reroll some of the abilities, such as picking up people and throwing them.
I think you also don't you get like reroll hits on heroes or something? Isn't there something like that?
There is.
Like they're flag.
I think it's +1 to wound against.
I think you're right.
The main thing is you get like in Breaker Tribe you get +1 to hit against like totems, things like that. Which is reliable, but not 3d6ing. Yeah.
So rerolls?
No reroll. I'm gonna say no, simply because that's really specific to get rerolls. You have to lean into it.
Okay.
But it's not something.
Oh my god, battle tactics are bad. They're bad. They might be some of the most unreliable battle
So
tactics.
So let me pull up their battle tactics again real quick, because there are a couple.
Change my mind. But
Kicking objectives into your turn, or kicking objectives.
Yeah, if you have a Gatebreaker, sure.
The Kraken Eater.
Or Kraken Eater, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I've never run a Kraken Eater.
Why? They're so fun.
I think the Gatebreaker's better.
They play the control game.
Sure.
So Grand Strat, when the battle ends, you complete this Grand Strategy if any friendly units made a run or charge move every battle round. That one I'm going to say is not so good
reliable.
because you can get tied up in combat.
Yep.
Let's see.
Most of the time they will get tied up in combat.
Broad's Revenge is really funny. Let's see. No, you can't do it on the Warpath either. I'm going to say there are no grand strategies, but there is a couple good battle tactics. Let's see. Yeah, killing a hero with their shooting actually has absolutely something you can do. Killing a unit with a Titanic Duel, killing a monster with Titanic Duel, but I'm going to say pass.
Okay.
But there's a couple notable ones.
All right.
And then that's mine, using the Get Off Me Land ability.
All right. Are you ready for the results?
Alrighty.
All of them are done. So this is a summary. Okay. So how did this happen too, by the way? I just started writing these down. I was going to do the top 3, but they're tied. So the number 1 is KO.
Yeah.
And then we have Cities of Sigmar, Skaven, Fyreslayers, and Disciples of Tzeentch. I feel like this is very biased toward an individual.
So.
Oh, and actually Lumineth is actually in there too.
By the criteria that we have, I would have to agree that KO, Cities of Sigmar, although Cities of Sigmar were pretty new too, Fyreslayers and Disciples of Tzeentch are the most reliable by these criteria. Now, just because something is reliable does not mean it is good.
Correct, 100%.
Skaven, it is reliable that you will blow yourself up, but you'll get some good shots out of it. But it's super random dice, right?
You're 100% right. Yeah, that
so,
reliability does not equal.
It's yeah. In my opinion, Fyreslayers are one of the most reliable factions. No bias at all.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's just so much you can't interact with that book in that book.
Okay, and then we got a tie here, but the worst 2.
Yeah.
Are Nighthaunt and Stormcast.
Yeah.
Which is probably accurate. I feel like Stormcast should be so much better, but I don't think it is. I know, surprisingly, too, Seraphon is in the bottom as well.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's just if we're going by if everything is weighted equal, which of course it's not, in my opinion.
Right. Okay, so then before we wrap up the show, is the state of the reliability in Age of Sigmar a problem? And I want to say, with what we've determined here, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
If it was leaning one direction either way, I would say we'd probably have a problem. But remember, the whole goal is for this game not to be reliable, right? Because you are playing a tabletop game. There should be lots of variables and things that happen, right?
Yeah.
This is very interesting. This will be very interesting to come back to this, in the next GHB and just see where these guys lie, right? So
as well, I don't think we take into account like things like 5-up wards to give them as much weight. Also, once per game abilities, they're not reliable, but you can get
100%. And again, for people that are watching this later, if there's things that we can adjust on here to make it better, obviously, definitely do that, right? Because this was just kind of a hot take right out of the gate, so it'll be nice to see what other people think about it.
Alrighty.
All right. So, as far as what's coming up next week, I don't know yet. I don't think there's any big releases this weekend, right?
Yeah. I am wondering when we'll get cities. That's going to be the big thing, right? We'll be practicing for teams. Woo!
Yeah, practicing for teams. So we'll see what we do next week. We may do something crazy. Maybe we do what's that game called?
What's the most fun faction? ranking them by their fun. We need to do tier lists. That's my opinion. Is we need a tier list. What's the most fun?
We can do a tier list next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. All right. Other than that, is there anything else you want to go over? Is that it? It's a long show, so thanks for sticking with us. Erica,
right?
Rest in peace. Cool. I guess if nothing else, we'll just we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great week, and we'll see you later.
See ya, everybody.
All right. Bye.